Flames consumed the skyline as unknown beams sliced through buildings. Everything familiar collapsed. This wasn't war, it was something far worse. Chunks of earth hovered midair, defying gravity. Systems crashed. Panic spread. Humanity's grip on order slipped into something it couldn't control. Corporal Min checked the emergency signal. Static. "What the hell?" he muttered, eyes locked on his silent, useless radio equipment. He stood watch at the base perimeter. No contact. Nothing. Behind him, soldiers waited for answers none of them could give. A massive drone darkened the sky. "City power grid offline," said HQ. Then silence. Something was coming and it wasn't human. "Our food supply is running out," the officer announced. "If we don't act now, we'll starve before anything attacks." Faced with pressure and fear, the unit turned to their chef. Survival required decisions no soldier had ever trained for. Young Jun tightened his grip, exhaled sharply, and stirred the pot. This meal meant more than taste, it meant morale and hope. "We eat to stay strong," he said. "No shortcuts. We fight harder with full stomachs and clear minds. Trust the food." He smiled slightly. "For lunch today, I've made courage-inducing bear stew. No magic, just guts, meat, and a lot of garlic." The tray clattered onto the line. Rice, stew, pickles, simple food, but in crisis, even routine meals gained serious weight. Soldiers gathered silently, waiting. Orders had stopped coming. Eyes were locked on leadership. Fear grew while hunger gnawed beneath their uniforms. "Is this truly our only option?" a soldier asked. No one answered. The unknown outside was more dangerous than starvation. "This is amazing," a soldier said. Others nodded, surprised. Whatever the risk, the stew made them believe they might survive. Lieutenant Kim collapsed suddenly, tray flying, shouts erupted, stew splattered across the floor. The moment of calm shattered into rising alarm. Lieutenant Kim stood suddenly, face intense. "Let's go, we need to go!" His voice cracked with urgency, eyes sharp again. With electrified movements, he bolted. "We need to fight now," he shouted. Confusion turned to shock across the silent mess hall. "Is it fair to expect bravery instantly?" someone whispered. Fear wasn't weakness, it was survival. But the stew had changed something. Soldiers roared, "Yeah, let's go!" Fists slammed tables. The chef's food didn't just fill stomachs, it unlocked something deep within them. "Post-meal exercise," one yelled as the group stormed out. Fueled by stew and adrenaline, they moved with fearless determination and unity. A loud screech echoed through the walls. Metal scraped metal. The chef raised his head, recognizing the signal immediately. Young Jun stood quietly in the rising steam. He wasn't afraid. His hands were steady. His job wasn't over yet. The soldiers, eyes blazing, charged into the red-lit battlefield. Their fear had vanished, replaced with resolve forged in the mess hall. Shouts thundered as they clashed with monsters. "Chef Young Jun," someone whispered. "His meals didn't just feed us, they changed us." Far away, unaware of the chaos, children laughed at school. A peaceful world still existed, but it was fading fast. "Block him off!" someone yelled as kids played soccer. Laughter echoed. The world still looked normal, but danger crept closer unnoticed. The soccer ball flew. "Don't miss!" a boy shouted. Their innocence stood in contrast to chaos elsewhere none of them saw. 3 students gathered near a phone booth. "Heard Nespas's new track?" one asked. Music, not monsters, still ruled their thoughts. "Why's it taste weird?" another grumbled. The cafeteria food felt off. "Lunch was meh," someone said. "What about dinner, though?" A teacher watched in silence. "It's almost mealtime. They're stuffing themselves with whatever's left," he muttered, staring at the long lines. A student handed over the box. "Mister, I need this delivered to the kitchen quickly." Urgency filled his voice. Chef Young Jun unsheathed his knife. A surge of energy pulsed. It was time to work, no delay, no distractions allowed. Blades flashed. Carrots split in midair. The cutting board vanished beneath a blur of motion. Precision ruled every single slice. "Sergeant Young Jun," the soldier whispered, watching the chef work. Everyone knew this wasn't just cooking. It was transformation through food. Thanks to Young Jun's strange ability, even basic ingredients became fuel for strength. He was more vital than any commander. Sergeant Young Jun shouted, furious at the messy inventory. "How many times must I tell you to check supplies correctly?" A nervous cook ran in, whispering, "Sir, Lieutenant Kim refuses to eat the vegetable tempura prepared for today's lunch." Young Jun froze, his eyes narrowed, remembering Kim's constant complaints. The situation was exhausting, especially during this tight cooking schedule. He sighed and turned to the assistant. "What? That guy again? Fine, let him eat whatever he wants." "Understood, sir," the cook replied. They exchanged trays quickly, hoping the rest of the lunch service would go without problems. Young Jun muttered in frustration, slicing carrots. "I'm already handling more duties because we're short-staffed. Things keep piling up." He sighed. "No squid for dinner. And Kim refuses vegetables. We're running out of both time and ingredients." "All right, listen up," Young Jun called out. "Change of plans, no stir-fried squid. We're switching to pork belly stir-fry instead." "Yes, sir," the team replied. Young Jun pointed. "Grab the pork belly we saved. They'll go wild for it, move fast. Also, cream and chicken. Kim likes pasta, so we're making chicken pasta for lunch. Go now and move quickly." The military base buzzed with training drills under the clear sky. No one noticed the strange object falling from above. In the nearby forest, a flash of light and loud crack split the trees. Something crashed into the ground violently. A sneaker lay near the impact zone. Blood stained the ground, trailing from the forest edge toward the bushes. Thick streaks of blood continued. A heavy silence surrounded the scene, broken only by faint rustling from deep foliage. Suddenly, a foot twitched. The body spasmed, legs shaking in blood-soaked dirt. He was alive, barely holding onto consciousness. A dark, hunched creature stirred in the woods. Growling low, it moved with sharp breaths and unsettling, jerking movements. Its eyes glowed red. Blood dripped from its jagged teeth as it rose, snarling louder. Sensing something nearby. Meanwhile, inside the kitchen, someone muttered, "Only a few days left before things go completely out of control again." They passed canned food between them. "We'll get by for now. But what if things really start running out?" "Planning won't help if monsters appear inside," one said, serious. The other shrugged. "Honestly, I don't know anymore." He popped open the can, calmly saying, "I thought I might learn to cook properly and open a restaurant someday." His friend blinked, surprised. "Huh? Isn't the food industry a nightmare? And cooking wasn't even your major in college?" The cook smiled faintly. "I found some satisfaction being a cook in the army. It gives my work meaning. When people enjoy my food, it feels good. That's why I want to learn seriously and do it right." The friend chuckled. "That's impressive. Will you invite me to the restaurant you used to work at someday?" Blood streaked across the ground outside. Unseen, danger crept closer while inside. They joked about cooking like nothing was wrong. He scoffed. "Are you crazy? I never said I liked you. And I don't care for Japanese cuisine. Still," he added, backtracking, "Japanese food isn't bad either." He took another sip, trying to steer the mood casually. "Honestly," the other said, "kitchen ranks seem stricter than military ones. I'm not ready to follow your orders again." Young Jun stood up. "We're low on salt. Get some from storage." Without complaint, the other replied, "Got it." Footsteps echoed as the cook returned. "Salt restocked. Let's resume prep. Only a few hours left before dinner," he said. While chopping vegetables, he daydreamed, Japanese cuisine. Actually, maybe I'll master something like that someday, just not sushi. No, maybe a Western-style fusion place. Steak, pasta, grilled chicken, something comforting, he thought, arms crossed, imagining the restaurant's menu. A loud crash interrupted his thoughts. His eyes snapped toward the noise. Something hit the storage room hard, too hard. He tensed. Sergeant's voice. A panic scream followed. Without thinking, he bolted across the kitchen. "What's going on out there?" He reached the door, heart pounding. "Sunyuk!" he called, hoping for a reply, but only silence came back. He stepped inside, scanning the dim kitchen. "Sunyuk!" His voice dropped. Something heavy dragged across the floor in the shadows. Growls echoed from the back. Panic rose. His eyes locked onto a shifting mass. Something was definitely inside, hungry, breathing. He froze, whispering, "Fuck, what is that?" A sharp exhale escaped him as the creature slowly turned its head. The monster's tail slithered forward. Low growls filled the air. He couldn't move. "Kuma!" It snarled, preparing to strike. The monster struck fast. Its claws pierced flesh. Blood splattered as the cook screamed, helpless in the beast's grasp. His eyes widened in horror. The lifeless body on the ground was someone he knew, someone who'd just been talking. Jae Junhyuk is dead. He whispered, frozen. The weight of reality hit like a stone. He couldn't believe what he saw. "No. This isn't right. It doesn't make sense," he muttered, panicking. His mind raced, trying to rationalize the impossible scene. He stared ahead. "There's no way. This is just a kitchen, not a place where monsters like this exist." He stared, sweat forming. "Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why would Junhyuk? How could something kill him like that?" Blood splattered across the floor. A dragging sound echoed. His eyes darted around. Something else was moving in the dark. He gritted his teeth. "Damn it!" Reality hit hard. "This isn't a dream. It's real. I need to act now." The monster snarled from behind. He turned sharply, muscles tensed. Survival instincts kicked in. He had no time to waste. "Sergeant Young Jun!" someone shouted. He responded quickly, "We need to get everyone out of here. Evacuate the kitchen now." He raised his hand, signaling the team. "No noise, something's wrong, don't ask. Just move to the exit." "Quietly leave," he repeated. "Lie down, stay low, and go fast. I'll handle the rest. No arguments." One soldier hesitated near the entrance. "Sergeant Young Jun, what's going on?" he asked, confused, unaware of the looming threat inside. Carrying a box, the soldier stepped in and froze. In front of him stood a towering beast soaked in blood. The creature turned, its glowing eyes locked onto him. The soldier couldn't move. He was too late to run. He screamed in terror as the beast approached, echoed through the hall. Panic set in instantly for everyone. "Youngest, run!" Young Jun shouted. Without hesitation, he dashed forward, drawing the monster's attention away from the frozen soldier. As he ran, he gripped a large kitchen blade. He knew it wasn't much, but it was something. He jumped in, then Young Jun spoke. "Take this, you damned monster!" His aim wasn't perfect, but he had no choice. Blades clashed against the beast's arm. It roared in fury, stumbling slightly from the impact. He stood his ground. Young Jun's blade clashed with the beast. Sparks flew. The creature didn't flinch. It blocked the attack like swatting a fly. Young Jun tumbled back, Young Jun into the floor. "Ack!" he groaned, pain shooting through his arm as the knife flew off. The monster growled low, stepping forward again. Blood stained its claws. It hadn't even been hurt by Young Jun's strike. He stood, breath uneven. "What the hell?" His voice cracked. "It's not working at all. My attacks do nothing." The creature's mouth curled into a terrifying grin. It knew. It enjoyed the fear. And it was about to strike. The monster growled, claws twitching with tension. Its glowing eyes locked on Young Jun, and its body crouched, ready to pounce. In one explosive leap, the creature lunged. Its speed defied logic. Young Jun barely registered movement before it was already in midair. The beast's jaw opened wide. Blood-stained teeth gnashed wildly. Its roar shook the room as it closed in fast. "Dodge it! Damn it, move!" Young Jun shouted. He pushed a teammate aside just in time. They crashed hard into the floor. Breathing hard, he stared upward. How the hell are we supposed to beat something like this? Nothing even scratches it. The monster slammed into the floor, sending tiles flying. Screams echoed as soldiers scrambled in all directions, desperately avoiding the impact. Another voice cried out. The beast let out a piercing roar, its rage overwhelming everything else in the kitchen. "Sergeant, what the hell is this?" one yelled, eyes wide, hands over his head. He couldn't stop shaking. "Like I know," Young Jun shouted back. "I've never seen anything like this." Blood trickled from his forehead as he stood. The beast leapt again. Its claws cracked the ground. Young Jun clenched his jaw. It couldn't keep dodging forever. Young Jun's eyes narrowed. His instincts screamed something was about to happen. The creature's energy shifted, darker and heavier than before. A soldier screamed as the monster's blade-like energy tore across the air, lighting the room in a violent flash. Young Jun flinched. The creature dropped down, claws glowing, growling louder. Its strength seemed to multiply with every second. The monster roared furiously, purple energy flaring from its limbs. Its rage shook the air. No one could approach it now. Young Jun's face twisted in panic. "Shit!" he gasped. There was no time to think. It was heading straight for him. The chef stirred fiercely, boiling golden broth glowing unnaturally. Steam rose, masking the danger creeping through the kitchen's shattered window. "Sergeant Young Jun!" a soldier shouted, barging in. Panic filled his voice as strange shadows moved swiftly behind the glowing stove. "Get down!" he roared. A monstrous claw tore through smoke. Flaming oil splashed as both men dodged the beast's sudden strike. Young Jun screamed orders, eyes wide with fear. His instincts flared. Cooking wouldn't help now. The monster charged straight for them. Black-scaled and steaming, the creature roared. Its eyes locked on Young Jun. He tightened grip on his ladle, prepared to fight, not cook. The beast screamed in pain. Sergeant Young Jun clenched his ladle, breathing heavily. "Did it work?" he muttered, eyes sharp. Hot oil surged again as Young Jun swung the pan. Sizzling liquid struck the monster, proof that heat could hold it back. "Yeah, he can't stand hot oil," Young Jun confirmed. He readied another attack, heart racing, timing each splash with military precision. The creature lunged, enraged. Young Jun screamed, "Come on, die!" But nothing worked. The monster's strength only grew with every attack. "No matter how strong the dish is, we need something more," Young Jun groaned. "The recipe's wrong, or missing something." "Junior!" Young Jun called out. His voice was firm, urgent. Junior snapped to attention, replying quickly, "Yes, sir," without hesitation. Junior dashed forward, gripping the ladle tight. The creature's dark aura loomed, but he didn't falter. He trusted Young Jun's call. A sudden sweep of the beast's arm crashed into Junior, flinging him through the air. The force was overwhelming. He hit the wall hard, pain shooting through him. Purple smoke coiled around his hand, burning where it made contact. Sergeant Young Jun's eyes widened in horror. He rushed forward, panicked, realizing something was terribly wrong. Junior's arm wasn't healing. Something spread. Young Jun stumbled backward, holding his side. He groaned. His breathing was ragged. Pain pulsed where the claws had struck. He looked around desperately. Even the junior, he whispered. Fear crept in. Their best plan had failed. Time was running out. The beast howled. Its form twisted violently. Black energy pulsed from its body. It thrashed, tearing up the broken kitchen tiles. Tails hit. Young Jun barely dodges, his heart pounding. The monster's madness destroys the oven, the walls, and destroys all the equipment. "What? It's going crazy!" Young Jun shouted. He raised his arms defensively. The creature's rage had hit a terrifying, uncontrollable level. Young Jun lay motionless, pain shooting through every bone. "Will I die like this too?" he thought, vision beginning to blur. He clenched his teeth, like Jun Hyuk and the junior, taken down without warning. Is that all this ends as? His breath trembled. Rage mixed with helplessness. Blood dripped onto the floor, yet something inside him screamed not to give up. The monster approached. It stomped closer, snorting, staring directly at Young Jun. Then suddenly, it paused, confused, lowering its growl slightly. The beast blinked. "What's wrong?" Young Jun muttered. The creature hesitated, stepping back. A strange energy had begun to build around him. Young Jun noticed the beast's eyes flickering wildly. Something was off, its vision wasn't locking onto him like before. Oh, it can't see because of the oil, he realized. The burning liquid had blinded it during the last splash. Then he saw cracks in its armor. Red, damaged scales covered its back. The beast wasn't invincible anymore. His scales are red and split. The skin on the inside is exposed, Young Jun observed. Slowly regaining hope and confidence, he clenched his fists. It might be possible, he whispered, determination building. There was now a clear weakness to target. I need something to poke deep. Young Jun scanned the floor, eyes darting for anything sharp enough to pierce the flesh. Then he saw Junhyuk's favorite knife. It lay just ahead, untouched, glinting faintly beneath a pool of blood. The monster shrieked, pacing near. Young Jun stayed low, holding his breath. One step, and it would hear him instantly. If I make a sound here, I'm done for, he thought, edging closer to the knife in silence. He grabbed the handle. That's right. He smirked with resolve. I'm the judge. His grip tightened. This would be the final strike. Young Jun flung a metal tray across the room. It clattered loudly, drawing the monster's attention away from him instantly. The beast turned fast. Its ears twitched at the sound. It pounced toward the distraction, thinking it found prey. But nothing waited there. The creature's claws hit nothing but broken tiles. Its expression shifted too late to understand the trick. Young Jun gripped the knife tight, crouched and ready. His fingers steadied around the hilt. This strike had to be precise. He darted forward, Young Jun legs tensing, every muscle working together. His gaze was fixed on the red skin in front of him. Young Jun leaped onto the beast's back, dodging its claws. He raised the knife, aiming directly at the exposed scales. Die, you asshole, he roared, gripping the blade tight. The monster turned, mouth open, fangs ready to tear him apart. With full force, Young Jun stabbed into the wound. The blade sank deep, past the cracked scales, straight into burning flesh. The monster thrashed, screaming in agony. Young Jun held on, body shaking. It flailed wildly, but the knife stayed buried inside. Blood gushed from the wound. Young Jun gritted his teeth, refusing to fall. The final blow had landed. It was working. Young Jun focused, sweat dripping. He couldn't hesitate now. One mistake, and the monster would crush him without mercy. The beast roared, flinging Young Jun through the air. Its tail whipped around. Young Jun landed hard, gasping for air. The creature bellowed. Young Jun wiped blood from his mouth. Okay, he definitely needs to die, he muttered, heart racing. We have to finish him off without giving him a chance, Young Jun thought. He reached for his last weapon. With two knives, Young Jun leaped, stabbing with full force. Blade after blade plunged into the exposed wound. The beast shrieked. The creature screeched, body trembling. Young Jun gritted his teeth and drove the blade deeper. Its roars echoed through the kitchen. Go to hell, you fucker! Young Jun screamed, twisting the knife. The monster writhed, flailing desperately in its final dying rage. Blood burst from its mouth. It collapsed, limbs twitching. Young Jun held on, refusing to back down even as everything shook. Silence returned. A knife clattered onto the floor. Young Jun staggered away, exhausted, barely able to stand after the final blow. The battlefield stilled. Blood smeared the floor. Steam rose from broken tiles. The monster lay dead. Young Jun had survived, just barely. Young Jun collapsed beside the monster's body, chest heaving. Huff, ha. He could barely move, his limbs completely drained of strength. Eyes wide with disbelief, he whispered, I won. A smile crept in. The nightmare was over. He was still alive. I killed the monster, he gasped, staring at the unmoving beast. The impossible had happened. He had defeated something beyond human. Suddenly, light flashed. A strange screen appeared in front of him. Congratulations on your awakening, it announced brightly. Awakened Young Jun, Young Jun. Job, novice chef level .1. Stats and skills began to update. His real journey was only beginning. Young Jun's eyes widened in shock. A strange notification blinked in front of him. What is this? He whispered, tense. Awakened talent classification recognized. Title assigned extreme cooking. The screen glowed, assigning a destiny he never expected in the battlefield. Sunlight spread over the horizon. The world looked calm, but danger was everywhere. No one knew what had just begun. Gunshots echoed across the compound. Boots hit concrete. Soldiers scrambled, tension rising. Something was approaching fast and without warning. Damn, there's a lot of monsters, aren't there? One muttered. From above, bloodied bodies scattered. I see corpses everywhere. Young Jun stumbled through rubble, scanning the destroyed base. Is everyone dead? He muttered. Stunned by the silence and wreckage, he collapsed behind cover, gasping. Ha, ha. His legs burned. The battle had scattered everyone he didn't know who survived. This is crazy, man, he said, wiping blood from his brow. What the hell is going on? He remembered the monster. What was that thing, he whispered. And those windows? What are they even supposed to be? Suddenly, a glowing screen lit up. A nationwide event, faction war, shall soon begin. Together we stand. It declared ominously. A message floated in front of Young Jun. Create a faction or join a faction. He stared, confused and tense. The earliest factions will receive special perks, the screen added. Time was ticking and he had no idea what to do. You currently have no faction, it warned. Youngjun wiped his face. His mind raced to process the sudden flood of changes. What is this hologram? He muttered. It looks like a system window from a game. Who's messing with me? Suddenly a blinking icon appeared. A hand someone else reached toward the display. Youngjun paused. He wasn't alone after all. Worldwide event Capture the Flag has commenced. The system's alert echoed through the air. A new phase had just begun. Another screen followed. Capture and expand your territory. Advancement brings faction perks. Youngjun's eyes narrowed. Everything felt like a strange game. A faction war? Capture the flag? He muttered, crawling from the shadows. None of this made sense, not yet. I don't know anything, Youngjun shouted. I'm too busy to care about that crap right now. I need to survive. Cautiously, he peered outside the cave. Trucks were moving, soldiers regrouped. Whatever was coming next, it wasn't over yet. Let's find survivors first, Youngjun thought. He looked down at the wrecked compound below. It's safer in numbers. Gripping his knife tighter, he moved cautiously. I have to survive somehow, he muttered. Alone, the odds were too low. I'll take a look around this area, he decided, eyes scanning the tree line, even if I don't find anything. He spotted a familiar compound ahead. The sun was setting. Which direction did those things come from? The ammo depot? Youngjun crept closer along the wall, careful with each step. I'm getting closer, he whispered. Something was waiting up ahead. Youngjun spotted a huge beast. Was this the thing that tore through our squad? It's guarding the supply zone. He ducked behind cover, breathing hard. There's still hope, he thought. If he could reach supplies, he might survive. A sudden crash made him flinch. Another monster dropped behind him, cutting off his path to the exit. It growled deeply, claws scraping stone. Youngjun's heart pounded. He couldn't fight this one, not in the open. What? Where did you come from? He yelled. Now I don't even have oil. His odds were shrinking fast. A blinding light surged. Suddenly, a system alert echoed. Skill Chef's Eye is activated. Youngjun turned, startled and unsure. A screen appeared before him, analyzing ingredients. His jaw dropped. The system was scanning the monster in real time. What? Youngjun gasped. Data flowed rapidly, surrounding the creature. It wasn't just an enemy, it was now an analyzable resource. Ingredient analysis complete. The message pulsed. Youngjun's eyes widened, heart racing. He felt something unlocking inside his mind. You have obtained the novice cooking secret, lizard broiling enlightenment. Youngjun froze, stunned. Everything had just changed again. The creature emerged from shadows, its data initializing in the system. A red warning blinked. Unknown species detected. Analyzing threat level. Threat level marked as high. Muscles coiled, claws gleamed. It sensed movement nearby. Instinct drove it to hunt. Blood would follow. Its eyes glowed. Rain masked its breath. The beast stalked forward, quiet and steady. Nothing would stop it from completing instinct. A figure appeared through the mist. Wet hair clung to his face. He squinted, confused. What is that noise? The roar answered him. The beast charged, claws out. His eyes widened. No time to think, only to fight or die. The monster charged across the field, claws dragging the ground. The man stood his ground, fists clenched, waiting to counter. He whispered, "So it really sensed me as a challenger?" The monster growled. His heart raced, but his stance firmed. The beast lunged without hesitation. Wood shattered under its claws. He pivoted quickly, barely dodging the swipe, sweat dripping from his jaw. He exhaled sharply, eyes narrowing. Now's no time to think, just one chance. His foot shifted forward, ready to strike. With resolve burning, he muttered, "All right, let's give it a try." The beast roared again, jaws wide, teeth glinting under rain. The system chimed, skill unlocked, novice dagger skill. He dodged left, weapon Youngjun as instinct took control of his body. Blood sprayed as his blade sliced deep. The message appeared again, dagger skill improves with use. He gritted his teeth hard. He muttered, "I thought it'd get stuck in its tough skin." The beast howled. His grip tightened in response. Circling the monster fast, he struck again. The creature screeched louder, stumbling. "If I follow the message, it really works." He stayed close, weaving through openings. Each hit was faster, sharper. No more fear, just action, driven by the system's guidance. He killed it. The message confirmed the victory. He stood motionless, body shaking, adrenaline fading. The battle was over barely. Birds scattered overhead. The monster's corpse collapsed behind him. Breathing heavy, he dropped to one knee, pain finally catching up. He whispered, "I barely made it." As blood trickled down his arm, a strange energy surged beneath the ground. His vision blurred. "What's this feeling?" he muttered. The pain vanished, replaced by warmth. Something was pulling him inward, softly. He floated in silence. Colors swirled. It's like something's waking up, he thought. A new message formed, glowing before him. A bright flash signaled victory. "You have gained experience points," the system displayed. He blinked, the pain slowly fading away. A new skill appeared, Chef's Eye. "A great chef has no ingredients they cannot handle," the message stated with certainty. Still kneeling, he watched the message scroll. It said even unfamiliar things could be understood prepared if seen as ingredients. For targets judged as ingredients, the message continued, observation reveals the proper recipe, processing methods, and best preparation steps. He looked at the fallen beast. Ingredients? He whispered. The system confirmed, this monster is considered a food ingredient. He froze. A system window appeared again, lizard recipes, enlightenment. Confused but focused, he watched cooking instructions begin to load instantly. Lizard meat is light and savory, the message explained. If overcooked, it hardens. Remove the gamey smell carefully. Still panting, he listened. This ingredient needs precise attention. His mind struggled to accept it, but his hands didn't stop. A voice yelled, "Enough! Are you crazy, cooking that? How can you eat a monster that has eaten people?" Breathing heavy, he didn't answer. Bloodied, drained, but alive, he stared at the body. His silence was his answer. A bootstep echoed behind him. Youngjun turned sharply, alert. After all that happened, even small sounds raised his guard. "Hey, who's there?" he called out. A man appeared around the corner. Youngjun relaxed slightly. "Oh," he recognized the face. "I'm Sergeant Youngjun, a chef," he began. The other soldier replied, "Sergeant Youngjun?" and moved closer, eyes scanning his uniform. "You're from the supply unit, right?" Youngjun asked. The man nodded. "Ah, you're alive. What are you doing out here alone?" Youngjun smirked tiredly. "And what's with that look?" Then he added, "It's a long story. How'd you end up here?" "I heard voices this way," said the soldier. "I thought there might be survivors." Relief flickered across Youngjun's tired face. They regrouped quickly. "Let's head to the ammunition depot," one said. "We don't know when more monsters might appear." A loud shriek echoed through the alley. No one hesitated. "Run! Let's go quickly!" Their boots slammed into the ground. They sprinted through narrow paths, breath steady, weapons ready. Each second counted now. Survival meant moving fast without slowing down. Morning light broke through the trees. They reached open ground, steps slowing. For now, they had made it barely. Youngjun looked out over the horizon. "But where are the other chefs?" Silence followed. No answer came back. He saw the wreckage. They all seemed to be dead. His voice cracked. "I'm sorry." His hands clenched tightly. Another soldier replied, "You have nothing to apologize for. They were good guys." Youngjun stood silently, grief flickering behind his eyes. A memory flashed, laughing together in the kitchen. "Looks like I'm the only one left now," he murmured, voice low. A voice from afar shouted, "We have a survivor!" Soldiers rushed closer. "Quick, inside!" Youngjun turned, unsure what waited next. They walked in silence. The base was quiet. Youngjun looked around. "We've fortified the defenses around the ammunition depot," someone said. Soldiers patrolled slowly. "They all look exhausted," Youngjun noted. Some wore unfamiliar uniforms. Everyone had the same haunted, tired expression. He paused. "Different units. All gathered here." The survivors had come together from everywhere, clinging to one goal, staying alive. Another soldier spoke up. "Well, at least we're gathered here. It's a relief." For a moment, the tension lightened slightly. Suddenly, a system ping echoed. "Acquired preparing primates enlightenment." Youngjun's eyes widened. A new recipe had been unlocked this time for primates. Another notification appeared. Youngjun stepped closer. The title glowed across the screen. His pupils shrank, preparing primates. His breath caught. He read it again. Preparing primates? It didn't make sense. The term wasn't about monsters, it pointed towards something worse. He glanced at nearby soldiers, resting quietly. Nothing unusual, just survivors like him. But his gut said something was dangerously wrong. Their faces looked calm. But the system's message refused to leave his mind. Were these people now classified as ingredients? Standing in silence, he stared at the glowing screen. The meaning was clear. Someone, or something, wanted them prepared. "Sergeant, come in and report," a voice called. Youngjun blinked. The system window was still there, unseen by everyone else. It seems others can't see this window, he thought, eyes narrowing. The soldier confirmed, "Yes, Lieutenant Kim commands the base. The top officers are meeting now. When we learned you survived, Sergeant Youngjun, they ordered you to report immediately." Youngjun nodded. "All right, let's go in." He followed the soldier through the courtyard, eyes scanning everything with cautious attention. As they approached the door, he asked, "Is Lieutenant Kim the only officer left?" The question hung heavy in air. Monsters weren't just targeting soldiers. Civilians were missing too. Youngjun clenched his jaw, knowing danger loomed beyond the battlefield. He walked toward the door cautiously. Inside might be survivors or worse. His grip on the doorknob tightened with uncertainty. He opened the door slowly. The corridor was quiet, eerily clean. His instincts screamed, but he took another careful step. A voice called his name. He turned sharply. It was a soldier, bruised but smiling. "They said you'd come." Youngjun stepped inside. Familiar faces greeted him. Relief washed over the room. "You're alive," someone said. Hope briefly returned. Lieutenant Kim stepped forward, jaw tight, command post gone. "Monsters breached the perimeter. We need a new defense plan." Young Jun approached the group calmly. "Let's sit down and talk," he said. The soldiers nodded and shifted to listen. He spoke firmly. "There are still quite a few survivors out there. We must keep checking the nearby zones." Another soldier entered. "Was it the transport team?" he asked, holding documents. Tension grew. Young Jun's expression hardened slightly. Young Jun glanced at Kim, sweat forming. "Lieutenant Kim," he said cautiously, unsure how much could be trusted anymore. He stared coldly. A dirty, greedy, low-level officer, he thought. Kim forced a smile, hiding something behind that calm. Young Jun pushed the tray away. "I can't eat this." His face was tight. "I'll eat something else later." Kim narrowed his eyes. "Where are you finding food?" Young Jun didn't answer. Silence spread between them like rising tension. The cook wiped sweat, watching. "This guy is our unit's commander right now?" he whispered under his breath, confused. Outside, two soldiers whispered. "Sergeant Kim Sun-ho is dead." The other replied softly, "No. He's gone to a better place." Kim reappeared. "The headquarters team died?" he asked, smiling strangely. No one responded. The air suddenly felt heavier than before. The two soldiers stayed quiet, uneasy. Young Jun glanced around, gauging morale. He could tell they were holding something back. Young Jun muttered, "About half the soldiers aren't fit for this. Their minds are unstable. We can't depend on them." He added, "Sergeant Park isn't thinking straight, so I'm filling in." The others were surprised by his sudden leadership. One soldier whispered, "Only the most sane soldiers are here." He flipped the paper, listing what little order remained. Kim read the report. "Scouting unit has 7, transportation has 10, he said. His voice was calm but cautious. The paper showed final numbers, 107 total, 1 cook, 7 scouts, 10 transport. The rest regular soldiers or casualties. Kim reported, roughly 100 men left. His voice dropped. "Almost half of the battalion are already down or injured." Young Jun stood. "May I have a look?" he asked. The others paused. One finally replied, Min-jae, what is it?" Sergeant Min-jae stepped forward. "I checked with superiors. We've lost contact with the rest of the world." No response. Min-jae confirmed, "Phones are offline, emergency lines don't work, internet's dead too. Every communication channel is completely shut down." Min-jae said, "I've tried every method. Radios, satellite lines, command relay all silent. Nothing's connecting from our side." Everyone froze. Young Jun stayed quiet, staring forward. No one knew what to say. Reality was finally sinking in hard. One soldier shouted, "You mean we're cut off? Is this an EMP attack? Maybe North Korea triggered it?" Another answered quickly, "No. Military gear's EMP proof. We've got shielding." The room filled with more confusion than answers. Panic spread. "If we're cut off, we'll die here," one said. Another added, "What about our families?" A soldier asked, "Lieutenant Kim, what do we do now?" Another muttered, "Feels like I'm trapped with no way out." Young Jun noticed their restless expressions. Everyone is getting anxious, he thought. They're looking for someone to lead with confidence. When there's a clear goal, anxiety drops, he reasoned. A sense of direction can stabilize the troops and prevent panic. They need a calm leader, someone steady, he continued thinking. And right now, they're all looking to Lieutenant Kim. Kim forced a smile, sweating. He hesitated, clearly unprepared for the burden suddenly placed on him. The soldiers stared at Kim. No one spoke. Young Jun remained silent, sensing the pressure building with each passing second. One soldier snapped, "So what? If the lieutenant doesn't know, how can we know what to do now?" Shouts erupted. What would a real leader say? "Hey, calm down. There should be protocol." Arguments flew across the room. Young Jun clenched his jaw, hand to his face. His thoughts raced. He couldn't let panic spread any further. Lieutenant Kim's face tightened. Sweat formed. His authority was crumbling and everyone in the room could see it clearly. One soldier slammed his hand down. "You said we lost contact, right? So why are we still waiting?" He continued. "Why not just send a few soldiers to find upper units and re-establish contact on foot?" Lieutenant Kim replied, "We need orders from higher-ups before we move. We can't act on our own like this." Everyone went silent. The risk was clear. One man whispered, "Wouldn't that be dangerous?" Young Jun considered it carefully. Suddenly Kim's eyes widened. A thought struck him, something he hadn't considered until now. Escaped his lips involuntarily. Young Jun explained, "The command post is high in the mountains, 1,400 meters up. It'll take hours to reach." He added, "Even if we try, monsters could attack midway. 2 hours is too long without protection." A soldier agreed, "Yeah, it's too far. Just stay here." Kim frowned, thinking, "This guy's insane. He'll get us killed." Suddenly Young Jun stood. "Let's do it. It's risky but necessary. Let's form a team now and move out." The soldiers froze. "Volunteers?" one muttered in shock. Eyes widened around the room. The air thickened with hesitation and fear. Young Jun glared. "You're Young Jun nothing," he said. "You just don't want to take responsibility for making the hard decision." He continued, "One wrong move and it's on you, right? But that's what command is, making hard calls anyway. You're hiding behind orders," Young Jun pressed. "But we need a real leader, one who acts, not waits for permission." With eyes narrowing, he added, "Lieutenant Kim, I expected more. If you won't lead, I'll ask for volunteers myself. He turned to the others. Anyone got a better plan? Silence followed. If not, we're picking volunteers now. One soldier nodded. Oh yeah. Another added. Well, we don't have many choices. Might as well go for it. Kim finally agreed. Great. I think we all agree. The rest will stay here until contact is re-established. Youngjun remained quiet but focused. They now had a plan. Time to check supplies and decide the deployment team. Outside, under the fading light, Kim asked, Youngjun, how much food do we have left for the unit? Youngjun replied steadily. About 5 days of basic rations. That's if we manage portions and nothing goes wrong. They checked the shelves, canned food, ramen, and bottled water. 6 weeks supply. Enough for 2 months with fewer people. One soldier asked about ammunition. The commander replied grimly, training rounds were spent, only combat-grade bullets remained in short supply. They looked at crates of remaining bullets. Not enough for long. The enemy wasn't human, monsters required more firepower to kill. The briefing ended. Discussions began. Everyone debated how to eliminate monsters hiding inside, knowing they couldn't risk another surprise attack. Someone raised concern about basic needs. What about power and water? Silence followed. Survival meant more than just fighting, it meant planning. The signal to headquarters hadn't returned. Despite attempts, all communication lines stayed silent. Hope for outside help was quickly fading. Still, the team leader noticed tension easing. The soldiers were tired, but his presence and control gave them brief reassurance. He finished writing inventory notes. That's everything, he said. Then to the young man, go update the rest now. Shocked, the young man froze. We're done? What about the real issue? Aren't we talking about the awakenings? The others looked confused. Awakening? One asked. No one else seemed aware. Youngjun realized he might be the only awakened one. Youngjun confronted them. Weren't you fighting monsters? One soldier replied. Yes, with guns. That's how we've always done it. Youngjun paused, reading their confused expressions. No one responded. What's with that look? He asked. Am I the only awakened? Without a word, Youngjun pulled out a blade. Calmly he said, I have something important to show all of you. The sudden motion startled them. Soldiers stiffened as Youngjun drew the knife, holding it steady, eyes fixed on the group. Alarmed, one stepped forward. Hey, what's with the knife? What are you doing? Tension spread fast across the entire room. Youngjun raised the bloodied knife. The room froze. Tension grew. Everyone watched closely, unsure of what he would do. He spoke clearly. You saw monsters too. But only I awakened. I'm telling the truth. He stepped forward, eyes determined. They're not ordinary threats, he continued. Some have weaknesses, visible only after awakening. I've seen things I can't ignore. A sudden flash burst from his blade. Sharp violet slashes tore through air. Everyone jumped back, startled by the light. Youngjun stood firm after the demonstration. Breathing steady, he lowered his arm, silently asking, Now do you understand me? The wooden table stood still, untouched after the flash. Then, without warning, its surface began to split down the center. Cracks echoed. Soldiers stepped back as the table cleanly collapsed. No one spoke. Eyes widened. Something unnatural had just happened. One soldier gasped, That's insane! How'd you do that? Another shouted, The table's cut like paper. That's not normal strength. A system screen appeared in midair. Talent, novice dagger proficiency. Youngjun stood silent, letting the skill window speak for itself. He finally explained, This began after killing the monster in the kitchen. I awakened, and now I see the truth. The commander was shocked. Killing a monster causes awakening? Youngjun nodded. It's real. You saw what just happened yourself. Another soldier stepped forward. We didn't believe it at first either, but we've seen it. It's real. It works. You all saw it too, Youngjun added. This isn't theory anymore. We're outmatched, and awakening is our only chance. He looked at the wrecked table. Ammo runs out. Monsters don't. I've nearly died several times already just surviving alone. He gripped the dagger. 3 days from vacation? Now I'm fighting monsters. Might die here instead. That's my new normal. Youngjun clenched his fist. I'll survive. I'll cook for everyone. If we eat well, we might all live. A system alert appeared. A faction war had begun. Youngjun's goal was clear now, to awaken and lead his whole battalion. A loud crash echoed. Everyone turned. A soldier burst in, face pale. We're in trouble, he shouted without hesitation. Monsters are coming, he yelled. The room broke into motion. Officers rushed to respond, instincts sharpened by too many battles. At least 5, maybe more, someone shouted. We can't be sure. Panic tightened around the edges, but orders still flowed. Back to your positions, prepare to fight. Youngjun called out. Soldiers scattered, moving fast. Yes, sir, echoed from all sides. As Youngjun armed himself, he caught the soldiers' stares. Why are they looking at me like that? He muttered, uneasy. Open fire! The order rang out. Bullets lit up the air as soldiers engaged the monsters approaching their fortified position. The monsters roared and lunged through gunfire. Sharp claws tore through crates as soldiers held the line under heavy pressure. A monster shrieked in pain, but kept advancing. Bullets slammed into its chest, but it took a full clip to fall. They're drawn to people, one soldier said. It's like they sense us. And they're insanely hard to take down. Another shouted, aim high, shots still hurt. Explosions cracked across the field. For now, the monsters slowed, but they weren't stopping. Young Jun muttered, 30 bullets for one monster? He knew this rate wasn't sustainable with their ammo and forces thinning fast. Without more awakened, they'd lose every drawn-out fight. We can't hold if another wave hits like that, he thought. Clear, it's over, a soldier called out. The commander ordered a perimeter and began checking injuries and losses immediately. The battlefield calmed. A medic reported, 2 casualties today. Young Jun clenched his jaw. They weren't winning, just delaying the inevitable. What do we do with them? Young Jun asked. Sun shelters nearby, another replied. We'll store the remains for burial later. Let's hurry, a soldier barked. Yes, sir, came the reply. Everyone rushed to carry out post-battle cleanup and orders. The sun began to rise. The monster threat had passed for now, but their real work was just beginning again. The soldiers reviewed plans from the earlier meeting. It was time to act, rebuild defenses, and send out requests. The commander asked, are you sure about this? They nodded. Contacting higher command was risky but necessary for survival. We've got fuel, one soldier said. And I know a retreat spot. If monsters don't appear, we'll reach it. We've stocked more ammunition, a soldier reported. Young Jun nodded silently, thinking about the next step, awakening more troops before another attack. Good, Young Jun replied. I'll cover you while you rotate the next group out. We need more awakened fighters. Young Jun stood before the soldiers. Why didn't you awaken? One asked. I killed a monster too, another added confusedly. Maybe it's because you used a gun, someone suggested. Young Jun had fought up close. Maybe that's what triggered the awakening. The others remembered. They shot from afar, never facing real danger. Young Jun's fight had been direct and personal. That changed everything. That's the only difference, Young Jun said. I fought close. That might have triggered the awakening. I think that's the key. There must have been some kind of energy, he continued. Maybe it's only released when you're near the monster during death. Others began to agree. That could be it, one said. Close-range kills might be how the system registers intent. The commander asked, so we need to face them directly? That's dangerous. Young Jun nodded. Yes, but it worked for me. Didn't the system show the weak spot? Young Jun paused. No, I poured boiling oil. It burned the skin and exposed it. Commander Kim pointed to the map, explaining the plan. We attack at dawn while the monster is distracted eating survivors. Soldiers murmured doubts. Boiling out alone is siege, one muttered. Isn't that almost suicidal? Another asked, eyes wide in fear. Kim tightened his grip on the marker. Then we do it this way, he said, shaking hands with Sergeant Min. Min addressed the squad. If it's injured, a few bullets will bring it down. Focus when it weakens. A beast roared in flames. Strike its weakness, Kim shouted. The team moved forward, determined to end the terror tonight. We'll have to take him out up close, Min muttered, considering the risk. Only a sharp bayonet will work. Let's ask the crew to grind the blade. We need reach, Taejun said, inspecting his rifle with determination. Kim nodded slowly. That's a sound plan, he thought. Taejun isn't strong, but he thinks clearly under pressure. He's a scout, not frontline, Kim continued mentally. But his plans are solid. He'll handle this part of the mission. Then Taejun handles it, Kim confirmed. He turned to the cook. We're going to eat. Prepare something to fuel us. What? Now? A soldier asked, confused. The cook replied calmly, yes. You need proper food before any real battle begins. Soldiers gathered hesitantly. I'm not sure, but I'm starving, one muttered, clutching his stomach. Hunger slowly beat their doubts. Captain, may I? The cook requested firmly. Kim nodded. I'll assign you 2 soldiers. Make something filling and quick. Thank you, sir, the cook said. Orders clear, he began preparations. Meanwhile, soldiers lined up, stomachs grumbling, weapons still ready. Dinner at 7, we rotate in turns, Kim announced. Before that, alert the awakened troops. They eat first. Morale shifted. Yes, sir, the squad responded. Orders confirmed, 2 soldiers rushed to the vehicle, tasked with a priority supply retrieval mission. Their jeep raced down the narrow forest trail, weaving through shadows. The road was rough, but the mission couldn't wait. Inside the jeep, tension built. We get the gear, no delay, the driver muttered. His partner scanned for ambush points. The vehicle bounced over roots and rocks. Dust trailed behind them. They slowed as they neared the designated supply station. One soldier stepped out, rifle ready. He entered the storage building quickly, focused on retrieving equipment before danger could follow. Why is it this easy? He muttered, shocked. Each movement felt natural, like the tools were part of him. Cooking didn't drain him, it energized him. Did the awakening boost kitchen skills too? He wondered, stirring meat with confidence. The dish simmered perfectly. Proper belly stir achieved, a system message flashed. The smell alone lifted nearby soldiers' spirits. Heat control triggered another notification, sincerity level up, stats slightly increased. He grinned, knowing every stir made a real difference. He studied the interface. Eating this will increase recovery speed, it said. His meals were now part of their survival. A new stat appeared. Chef's special sauce, courage. It calms nerves, prepares minds, and strengthens will during combat situations. He raised his hand. This sauce isn't just seasoning, he realized. It's emotional reinforcement. This really changes how I cook. He blinked, stunned. So my meals can affect morale? Then I'll cook like lives depend on it because they do. Outside, soldiers gathered. Everyone looks steadier now, one whispered, like the fear is gone. The atmosphere shifted, focus returned to their eyes. He poured in the final touch. Chef's special sauce, courage activated. A notification followed, troop fear resistance moderately increased. He clenched his fist and smiled. Now, let's eat! His confidence surged. The real test was about to begin. Soldiers lined up eagerly. Sergeant Youngjun, I'll take a good portion, one called. Hunger now overpowered lingering fear and doubt. Youngjun nodded. Yes, eat a lot, he encouraged, watching trays fill. The kitchen buzzed with hopeful energy and chatter. He wiped sweat and watched quietly. Will it work? Doubt crept in, despite everything. The outcome rested on every bite. A soldier took his first bite, eyes widened. Wow, this is delicious. Relief washed over Youngjun. The effect had started. A soldier smiled. You made this alone, Sergeant Youngjun? He asked. It's not boosting muscles or anything, though. Youngjun stared at the food. I can't even tell if it works by just looking at the result. Another soldier bowed slightly. Thank you for the food, Sergeant Youngjun. The words hit harder than any system message. The monster gave me a headache, but now I feel better and energized, a soldier said. Can I have more? Youngjun smiled. Yes, of course. As the line grew, he nodded to himself. It does seem to be working now. Youngjun looked at the simmering food. I'm not sure how stats work yet, but something's definitely happening. He observed the soldiers eating. Maybe this ability isn't just about strength. It might stabilize minds, keep them from panicking. The cafeteria filled with quiet chewing. Focus returned to their eyes. Confidence slowly replaced fear at every table. Suddenly, soldiers jerked upright. A loud sound echoed. Footsteps rushed. Eyes widened. Something unexpected was approaching the mess hall. A spoon clattered to the floor. Silence followed. Whatever came next, they would face it with full stomachs and courage. Youngjun froze mid-step, eyes narrowing. Damn, it's this again? He recognized the pattern. Danger always followed right after meals. Footsteps echoed as he dashed toward the exit. They don't give me a break, he shouted, preparing for another emergency. The base echoed with urgent footsteps as soldiers rushed across the courtyard, alert and ready after hearing distant automatic gunfire. A squad leader pointed toward the barracks, shouting, Over there! The team followed, weapons raised, prepared for anything dangerous ahead. Standing atop the stairs, a senior soldier noted, The gunfire has ceased. His voice was calm, but tension filled the air. Without wasting time, the unit stormed toward the building. Their boots slammed the ground as they moved in synchronized, trained motion. Two confused men appeared from inside. What's going on? One asked. The other added, We just came back from eating. Youngjun recognized a figure near the wall. Eyes wide, he froze, realizing it was someone he hadn't seen in months. Taejun! He shouted, surprised. As Taejun turned, he smiled. Oh, you came too? Relief spread across both their faces. Minjae appeared beside them. Even you're here, Minjae? Youngjun asked. What the hell happened? Confusion and concern filled the group. Minjae replied, We saw a monster, so we chased it. Like you said, we need to hurry and awaken. One soldier pointed toward the woods. Those two are ready, he said. A decision had been made. The mission continued immediately. They froze as a large mutated creature groaned, its flesh torn and twitching. The team instantly recognized it wasn't fully dead. Are they still alive? Someone asked. Yes, and... A voice trailed off, unsure if hope or danger was coming next. A soldier cocked his rifle with urgency. I'm going to take it now, he said, aiming without hesitation or fear. Back inside, a leader spoke firmly. Let's have those from the meeting awaken first. The others silently prepared for orders. Why? One asked. Those stunts you set up were meant to trigger the monster's threat and allow awakening to start. The captain briefed his team. Orders were clear, seniors lead the front. No one questioned it, yet something felt wrong. Breathless and terrified, the survivors reached the blood-soaked barricade. A single rifle stood planted, silent witness to the carnage. A flash erupted. A message echoed in his mind. Congratulations on your awakening! Power surged through his trembling, exhausted body. A glowing screen appeared mid-air. Awakened, Lee Minjae. Class, Support Mage C rank. Confusion hit harder than the enemy ever could. Lee Minjae stared in disbelief. What the hell? Is this for real? His hand reached forward. Change was already beginning. The squad surrounded Minjae. What do you see? They asked. Eyes wide, he nodded. Yeah. A system window popped up. He turned, stunned. A new sense bloomed inside. This feels unreal, he muttered. Lightning quietly cracked around his trembling fingers. Energy surged wildly through him. Sparks lit the air. I feel it. Something's flowing, he shouted, smile spreading involuntarily. The instructor beamed. It's a success. Everyone stared in awe. This was real. Minjae had truly awakened. Something changed him forever. Gasps erupted from the group. Look at his hand. It's glowing. Minjae stood tall, sparks flaring. Their fear turned into hope. Minjae faced the doubters. Don't believe me? He said, electricity crackling. I'm a novice mage with electric affinity. Thunder skill. Someone stepped forward, intrigued. Are there others? Minjae nodded. Not yet, but I was the first to awaken. Remember? The squad murmured. So you awakened after killing? Minjae confirmed. Seems so. Close combat triggers the system. That's what happened. He pointed to the corpse. This proves it. Everyone doubted, but when they see results, belief spreads fast. A soldier raised his weapon. I'm next, then. Determined eyes locked on the enemy. One kill could change everything again. Sergeant Park stepped forward. You should do it too, someone urged. Taejun warned, be careful. Tension grew around them. Everyone, pay attention, shouted Minjae. All eyes turned as Sergeant Park loaded his weapon and moved toward the training zone. Silence fell. Park's boot echoed on the pavement. He showed no fear, but everyone knew this wasn't just training anymore. He stopped, locking eyes with the grotesque creature. Its body was twisted, twitching, still dangerous, still breathing. Not done yet. Park whispered, it's a little scary. His grip tightened. It's definitely not dead yet. The monster stirred. A fight was coming. The creature's eyes lit red. Its claws twitched. A low growl escaped. Krr. It wasn't finished, not by a long shot. Sergeant Park's eyes narrowed. It's moving, he muttered, muscles tense. The monster's body jerked. Everyone watching knew this could go wrong. He stepped closer, pressing down. Hey, stay still, he ordered coldly. No panic, just calm, practice control. He wasn't backing down. Raising his blade high, Park whispered, I'll be done in a minute. The final strike had to be clean, decisive. With one swift motion, he drove the knife down. No hesitation. The monster's body fell still. Everyone watched in silence. The monster's eye pulsed red. A blinding flash exploded outward. Something inside it had reactivated. The danger wasn't over yet. It roared violently. Sergeant Park was thrown back. The creature's body twitched, then launched upward with terrifying speed and force. Its mouth snapped open. Sharp teeth gleamed. It lunged forward, growling. Everyone froze. It wasn't dying, it was preparing to attack. A soldier gasped. Hic! Fear surged through the group. It's moving! He screamed. The monster was alive and now fully enraged. A massive shockwave burst outward. The air cracked. Darkness and fury spilled from the beast. This battle had just begun. A scream pierced the night. The others rushed to the scene. Something had gone horribly wrong in seconds. Taejun! Someone yelled. Panic spread as they saw him struggling. Minjae's face tightened. The monster had turned the tables fast. The beast pinned Taejun down. Its claws tore through his uniform. Blood sprayed. Taejun fought back, refusing to go down. He groaned, blocking another strike. The monster screeched. Taejun swung with everything he had, driven by fear and fury. Taejun roared. Fuck you, damn monster! He surged forward, knife ready. This wasn't just survival anymore, it was personal now. The monster's red eye gleamed again. Its growl deepened. Everyone knew it still had strength. The danger hadn't passed yet. Hey, young Jun, shouldn't you be saving him? A soldier shouted. The tension snapped. Orders were demanded. Eyes on the commander. I'll shoot. Just say the word, someone yelled. But young Jun raised a hand. No, he must finish it himself. Taejun, what are you doing? Finish it off! Young Jun shouted. The others held back, watching him struggle, fists clenching tightly. Blood dripping, face twisted with pain, Taejun shouted, Okay? He understood now this wasn't just survival. It was his awakening. Taejun plunged the blade deep. You bastard! I won't let you live! He shouted, covered in blood and rage. The monster screamed. Its fangs snapped open. It thrashed violently, refusing to die even as its blood painted the ground. A final slash tore through its core. Blood sprayed everywhere. The sound of the blade silenced the monster's roar. Its body collapsed, limbs twisted. The battlefield grew quiet, but no one moved. They waited to see if it was real. The team stared in disbelief. Did he kill it? One asked. Young Jun's eyes widened. Something unexpected was about to happen. Taejun knelt, panting heavily. Blood stained his uniform. Everyone held their breath, waiting. Was it over or just beginning again? His vision blurred. Argh! He gasped. Is that it? A flicker of blue light answered him before anything else did. A system alert flashed. Congratulations on your awakening. The words stunned him. His body lit up with glowing blue lines. The screen revealed it all. Awakened, rank F class, shield bearer, skill, iron skin. Taejun's hands trembled. This is it. Call the medic, someone shouted. He made it, right? Another replied, barely, but hey, better than nothing, huh? Taejun stumbled back, gasping for air. Blood trailed behind him. Ha! I got a system window too, he muttered. Young Jun grabbed him. Well done, asshole. You almost made my chest cave in, he snapped, relief hidden behind his words. Taejun groaned. I'm glad you're okay, Youngjun added, steadying him. That bite was strong, but it didn't take your leg, Taejun chuckled. I almost lost my motivation. Around them, soldiers regrouped. The field was littered with silence, bodies in tension. A call broke out, help over there. Troops rushed toward the voice. You lot, keep a watch out. Orders rang again. We'll return as soon as the medic comes, Youngjun said. Everyone slowly regrouped, the chaos of battle finally settling. And with that, the commotion ended. Quiet replaced the shouting. Relief came over them, but things wouldn't be the same. Taejun and Minjae became awakened. Their glowing status screens proved it. A new kind of soldier had entered the battlefield. An army that could fight monsters without bullets was forming. But not everyone welcomed this change with open arms. The awakening craze spread wildly, even to the ammo depot. Senior officers, though, resisted. Some still refused to awaken at all. A senior officer backed away, trembling. I refuse, he shouted. The others stood silent, unsure how to respond to fear. I won't do it, I won't fucking do it, he yelled, sweating. The pressure to awaken had finally broken him. A soldier defends himself, shouting back. He and Taeju acted brave despite fear. Tension builds among the group. Another soldier admits his inexperience, only having killed a mosquito before. The group listens, realizing how unprepared he feels. The commanding officer slaps his shoulder hard. He scolds him, demanding leadership and courage in front of the younger ones. The soldier trembles. Even with encouragement, he panics. Another comrade activates his ability, gripping his shoulder, urging him to fight. Despite yelling, I can't do it, they insist. If he doesn't try, others might get hurt far worse tomorrow. Two soldiers whisper about Kwang Il-jeon. He's known as the ace technician, but something about him still causes concern. They share rumors he's skilled, but easily scared. Despite his strength, horror movies and heights completely shut him down. He hears everything, worried they'll lose trust in him. He silently vows to avoid embarrassing the team any further. Looking up, he accepts reality. The pressure is too much. He wants to step back before more people lose confidence. A superior sighs, reluctantly allowing it. The relieved soldier bows quickly, surprised he was granted permission without more resistance. The soldier protests, shouting, but his superior cuts him off coldly, saying he's lost all right to be respected. Another comrade joins in, reminding him that seniority means nothing. Experience alone doesn't make someone worthy of being followed. He explains calmly, leadership is earned, not given. They need someone who's capable now, not someone clinging to the past. He stares seriously, saying the true leader must be awakened, ready for danger, decisions, and responsibility in every situation ahead. The judgment is final. Sweat drips down his face as the words strike hard. You rejected that. Leadership's no longer yours. His superior walks away, declaring the decision final. The disgraced soldier stands still, forced to accept the consequences of failure. Another soldier watches silently. He agrees inwardly there's no going back. Leadership can't belong to someone who hesitates under pressure. Others whisper among themselves. His skills were respected before, but now his fear overshadows everything they once admired in him. He tries to reason, but the others turn their backs. Hopeless, they mutter, leaving without looking at him again. Clenching his fists, he breaks down inside. No, it can't end like this. He refuses to be forgotten this way. The unit leader reflects silently. If morale keeps dropping, the fear and doubt will spread to the other soldiers fast. He turns to Minjae. There's no time to waste. I need to talk to you, he says calmly. He instructs Kwang Il to return to his post. No questions asked, the soldier nods and obeys without hesitation. Minjae asks what's happening, confused. The leader grabs his arm firmly, saying nothing yet. Just follow me, he insists. Looking over the camp, he says, for the sake of the unit's morale, you can't give up now. Brother, I understand your anger, he says gently. But this isn't how it should end, not with silence and regret. Minjae looks down, frustrated. I know. But what else can I even do? His doubt clouds any clear decision. This isn't just your issue, the leader warns. Everyone's watching. If you collapse, the battalion's confidence will collapse too. Minjae's eyes widen. What? He hadn't realized the damage was spreading. Soldiers were already questioning everything and losing trust. It's been quiet too long, the leader continues. Some are already close to breaking. If nothing changes, they'll snap. The leader explains. We're in the mountains. It's a long way down. Monsters are out there, but group safety works. He continues, that's why no deserters have left yet. Staying here is safer for now, at least, Minjae replies. But people want to leave anyway. They're worried about their families and what's happening beyond this camp. The leader nods. If we want them to stay, we have to make them feel stronger and safer here. Minjae responds thoughtfully, you're right. But there's more. Kwang Il isn't the only one who's afraid. Fear is spreading quietly. A soldier states firmly, if even one person avoids responsibility, others will follow. The structure will break from inside. They'll panic, he adds. They'll think they're too weak. especially the ones not confident in using their awakened powers. Minjae lowers his voice. Discord is dangerous, it spreads fast. Our unit can't afford to split during this crisis. He thinks aloud. So what you're saying is, refusing the awakening isn't just weakness, it's a threat to everyone. A pause. Then he asks, so, how do we convince Kwang-il? The real challenge is finally laid bare. The soldiers clean in silence. One man, frustrated yet focused, reflects on his dignity and how far things have fallen. Determined, he tightens his grip. A strategy forms in his mind, quiet but urgent. He just needs more time. Facing an ally, he shares his plan. The other questions its reality, but the soldier's resolve is visibly unshaken. Acknowledging the challenge, he calmly accepts the difficulty. No promises, just effort. Yeah, I'll try my best, he answers plainly. As his ally turns away, he stands quietly, determined. The silence carries tension. He watches, committed to what's ahead. He panics, unsure of his role. The situation's tense. What the hell can I actually do right now? Running hard, he weighs options. If he weren't a chef, he'd escape. But fleeing now would only bring regret. He's stuck with a novice chef role. No strength, no combat edge. His duty lies far from the battlefield. To be useful, he must master cooking. Food is his power fuel for others. That's how he supports the team. Determined, he joins the unit's meeting. He won't let them fall. His cooking will keep them alive and strong. Focused and steady, he steps into the kitchen. This is his battlefield. Now his mission starts with today's first dish. Chopping ingredients, he speaks aloud. Kwang-il, I'll turn you into a real soldier, starting with the right food. The pan sizzles. Flames rise briefly. Precision and timing drive every movement. His cooking is as disciplined as training drills. He grabs an onion quickly. Every ingredient counts. He doesn't waste time. Efficiency is key if this meal brings strength. Let's keep it simple, he mutters. Fried rice is the plan. The knife moves fast, his cooking has purpose now. He slices onions quickly, clean and thin. The preparation is precise. Every cut serves a purpose in the final dish. Carrots follow the onions, chopped evenly. No time wasted. His hands move fast, knowing these details affect the dish's result. All ingredients hit the pan. Flames rise. He stir-fries with control, merging textures and flavors. The dish starts coming alive. He evaluates critically. The meat's quality isn't great, it weakens the stats. But his seasonings should balance some of that. The dish is tailored. If the right person eats it, its effect increases. It's more than food, it's tactical support. He reaches for the final touch, his secret weapon. And finally, the special sauce, he says, focused and determined. With a quick motion, he pours it in. Golden sparks flicker. This sauce will define the dish's unique impact. As ingredients dance in the pan, he reflects, this sauce can affect emotions. Cooking now has psychological value too. He finishes plating and exhales. This should do it. Confident, he prepares to deliver it where it's most needed. A request is sent. Call Kwang-il from logistics. The dish is served radiant, balanced, ready to change one soldier's day. Kwang-il looks confused. Sergeant Young-jun, what is this? He asks. The chef responds plainly, just eat it, no questions. Young-jun adds, you barely eat, you're always skipping meals. His tone is firm, not angry, just genuinely concerned. Young-jun continues, I know you're hungry. You need strength. This is good. Eat now, no more excuses or delays. Kwang-il silently stares at the dish. A bead of sweat runs down. He's unsure, but something feels different. He finally sits. The dish smells great. Yes, I'll eat well then, he says, ready to accept the support. Kwang-il lifts his spoon, hesitating just a moment. Then, he digs in his first bite of the special fried rice. He scoops more. The aroma rises, every grain Young-jun's. He tastes the care and effort in each seasoned bite. Young-jun watches proudly. Novice chef's chicken fried rice of courage, he declares. It's made to help you stand strong. Kwang-il eats fast. This is amazing, he says. Young-jun smiles, there's more. Fill up. Talk and wait until you're ready. He nods gently. We can talk more after you're full. His voice is calm, letting the food do its part. The forest base remains silent. A soldier called out, Sergeant Young-jun. His voice trembled, unsure if he should continue. From the rooftop, Young-jun looked down and replied, He sensed hesitation but remained composed, waiting for more explanation. I'm sorry, the young soldier said softly, avoiding eye contact. The weight of guilt pressed heavy on his chest. In the sterile room, the tension was thick. Young-jun sat across from him, unmoved, yet quietly observant of the mood. I've always been like this, the soldier confessed. Since I was a kid, they kept telling me to act tough. They said training would help my confidence, he muttered. So I started martial arts. Worked out daily, hoping to change. He clenched the cup, but nothing changed. Strength came, but the fear, the emptiness, it was all still there. The officer nodded. So that's how you got that ripped. Still, you probably struggled inside more than anyone realized. I kept Young-jun smiling when praised. I thought I was finally accepted. I never imagined it would lead to tragedy. Silence fell. "You fought after your squad died," he said. "But me, I froze when they needed me the most." He stared at the floor. "I was scared too," he admitted, voice low, honesty breaking through the silence between them. Sergeant Young-jun looked up, surprised. For the first time, he saw the truth behind the man's calm and steady voice. "But if we freeze," he continued, "those monsters won't wait. They'll tear us apart like we're nothing but prey." He clenched his fists. "It killed my comrades. That's when I stopped thinking. I had to fight, no matter what. It wasn't bravery," he added, "just instinct, a short moment where survival mattered more than fear. That's what pushed me." He slammed his fist on the table. "I'm in my prime. It's not right to die like this. I want to survive. Open a restaurant. Make food for people, not fight monsters," he said, smiling with hope. Sergeant Young-jun nodded. "Even now, you think about living, building something new. That's incredible," he replied with quiet admiration. He looked around the worn-down facility. "It wasn't easy. Every choice I made could have ended badly, but I kept going. Now I want to survive with everyone," he said firmly, "and I know the other veterans feel the same too." The soldier nervously smiled, grateful for the encouragement. He hadn't felt motivated in weeks, but today something shifted inside him. He stood up abruptly, declaring his intent to fight. Hearing the chef's bravery sparked confidence buried deep within his soul. The chef noticed the change immediately. His cooking wasn't just nourishment, it sparked courage. The soldier's eyes now held determination. Clenching his fist, the soldier stepped forward. "The next monster is mine," he said. "Let me finish it off." He dashed into the battlefield with fierce resolve. "Everyone, stay back!" he shouted, striking hard and fast to protect them. Shouting fiercely, he charged the beast. "This is my chance to prove myself." His fist struck without hesitation or fear. The impact echoed loudly. Blood splattered as he landed a brutal hit. The monster roared, but he didn't slow down. The soldier stared, confused and alarmed. "He's gone insane," one said. "He's attacking the monster barehanded without thinking." He pummeled the monster again. "Die!" he screamed. One soldier asked the chef, "What did you feed him? Shouldn't you intervene?" Watching the chaos, the chef muttered quietly, "Maybe he's being a bit too aggressive." His expression showed slight concern growing. The fighter clenched his fist, still focused. "This is the moment I've trained for. I won't waste this chance," a soldier warned. "But he might get seriously hurt." The chef answered calmly, "If he does, that's when we move." The monster glared with glowing eyes, now fully alert. Its growl deepened, and its body tensed to counterattack with force. With terrifying speed, the monster raised its claw and lunged forward. The air tore around it as it struck. The fighter's eyes widened. He spotted the incoming blow too late. His fist was still raised as the claw approached. The monster's claw crashed down, but Kwang-il blocked it mid-air, gritting his teeth, standing his ground without flinching at all. With explosive strength, Kwang-il countered. His punch swung upward, forcing the monster back. The ground shook beneath their colliding force. The monster's eyes widened in shock. It hadn't expected resistance, let alone from someone unarmed and roaring with human rage. Kwang-il bellowed, "I'm Kwang-il, you fucking lizard!" and charged. Blood dripped, but he didn't slow, yelling with pure determination. The soldiers erupted in cheers. "He's stronger than the monster," one shouted. Even the chef stared in awe and disbelief. The group laughed again. "I'm glad he's doing so well," one said, watching Kwang-il dominate with raw power. "But he's barehanded," another added. "Serious? Shouldn't we give him a knife?" They turned to the chef for approval. One soldier approached the chef. "Hey, Sergeant, excuse me," he called out urgently, raising concerns as the tension grew. The chef's expression darkened. His eyes locked onto the battlefield. Something felt wrong, too intense, even for someone like Kwang-il. Kwang-il snarled and bit into the monster again. Flesh tore as blood sprayed. His eyes burned, showing no restraint. Kwang-il tackled the monster head-on, his bloodied arms wrapped around it as he bit down again, showing no hesitation whatsoever. The monster roared, attacking fiercely. Its large body slammed into the nearby trees, struggling to free itself from Kwang-il's strong grip. The soldiers screamed, "What is he doing? He bit the damn thing." Their faces were filled with shock and disbelief. One soldier yelled, "He just bit the monster's arm." Another added, "Wasn't this guy always the one running scared?" The chef looked away awkwardly. "Maybe I used too much special sauce. I didn't think cooking would work this well." Blood splashed as Kwang-il kept pounding the monster's body. He showed no signs of stopping, completely locked into combat mode. "Isn't the monster already dead?" a soldier asked. "He's stoning it now." The others looked concerned, unsure how to react. Kwang-il gasped, drenched in blood. Huff, huff. His arms trembled, but he raised them again, still lost in battle instinct. The other soldiers looked very panicked seeing him throwing stones. They didn't know what was going to happen. The soldiers watched silently. One turned toward the chef, frowning. The chef forced a nervous smile but said nothing back. Kwang-il slammed both fists into the monster's skull. Blood exploded around him, and yet he didn't stop or hesitate. His lips tightened. He bled from his cheek, but his focus never wavered. Nothing else mattered but ending the threat. The monster tried to rise again. Kwang Il stepped in fast, shoving it down, locking eyes, baring his teeth without fear. He roared, standing tall as energy surged around him. His body trembled, but his will refused to let him fall. Suddenly, a blue system screen appeared. One soldier watching from afar widened his eyes. Something new had just begun inside Kwang Il. A message appeared in his mind: "Congratulations on your awakening." His vision blurred as power surged through his battered body. Kwang Il collapsed beside the monster's corpse, breathing heavily. "Ah," he muttered, staring at the sky, unsure what had just changed. The others approached cautiously, watching from a distance. Blood soaked the ground, but only Kwang Il remained standing amid the aftermath. He rose slowly, laughing. "Recruits, look! I've awakened too!" He smiled wide. "I see a blue system panel before me. You crazy bastard, you made it!" one yelled. Another cheered. "Great! That's the fourth awakening." Relief and excitement spread quickly. A soldier laughed. "This bastard can really scare people." Cheers erupted as the squad gathered. "Congratulations, Sergeant," another one added. Everyone ran toward him. "That was the best bare-hand fight I've ever seen." "Good job, Kwang Il," someone shouted proudly. Still catching his breath, Kwang Il smiled and exhaled hard. "Ha!" The pain lingered, but victory felt worth every drop spilled. Looking at the group, Kwang Il grinned. "It's all thanks to you, Sergeant Youngjun." His voice was loud and sincere. Youngjun looked surprised at first. Then, his lips curled into a smile. Something had definitely changed in Kwang Il for the better. The soldiers stared, stunned. "What the hell did you do to him?" one asked, still shocked by Kwang Il's transformation. The chef laughed awkwardly. "I'll have to be more careful with the amount next time," he admitted, scratching nervously. Soldiers gather, confused and alert. One shouts, "Youngjun, what the hell did you do?" Another exclaims, "He's a completely different person." Youngjun replies calmly, "I just made some food and talked with him, that's all." The soldier stares in disbelief and awe. "You have such a talent for persuasion," the soldier says. Others nearby murmur in agreement, watching the changed man stand quietly, respectful now. "That's how the human heart works," Youngjun explains. "You can't ignore the power of listening." The others begin to really consider it. A laugh breaks the tension. Youngjun and his comrades smile. Even here, food and empathy might still be humanity's best tools. "No way," he shouted, stunned. Sweat formed. "It can't be that easy. There must be something I'm missing here." He calmed down, thinking hard. "That's right. It doesn't make sense unless it's the effect of a hidden ability." Crowds gathered, unaware. "It's all thanks to the effectiveness of my skills," he thought. "But I can't reveal it yet." Alone, he practiced under barriers. This isn't what they saw earlier. It's different, stronger. They wouldn't understand this version yet. Fighting beside Kwang Il, he noticed. That guy's terrifying in battle. But it's just temporary. His true self is still hidden. Soldiers chatted while watching from afar. "That ability could prove dangerous," one whispered. "He's not normal. He's like the wrong kind." They stared at the peaceful sky. "This gentle guy is a berserker. Gaining strength by losing reason seems risky, doesn't it?" Youngjun replied. "That's true, but when survival's on the line, maybe it's better than dying weak and unprepared." He added, "It's tough, so we should feed the next awakened kid something strong first. A special meal helps." Another soldier gasped. "Can we? We don't have enough food." The idea of generosity now seemed difficult to support. Youngjun scanned the storage. "Most of this food won't last. We need to use it while it's fresh." He picked out fruits and meat. "The best way to use this food is to make meals that boost strength fast." They walked together. "I'm counting on you to prep a proper meal," the soldier said, full of quiet hope. Youngjun reflected, carefully managing scarce resources and cooking under pressure. "I wonder if this awakening is based on my real job." Suddenly, a monster charged in. "It's running!" someone yelled. Another soldier shouted, "Lead it away! Guard the supplies at all cost!" A bright flash burst across the field. "Fire the moment it stops moving! Don't miss this time!" someone shouted urgently. Bullets struck the monster, but it didn't fall. "Well," a soldier muttered, "there was bound to be a few exceptions." The explosion threw debris everywhere. The others braced, but overall, he continued, the awakenings have gone smoothly despite these close calls. Back at the gate, guards tightened formation. The gunfire echoed. No one relaxed. They waited to see what came next. "Hey! Who just killed it?" a voice shouted. The young soldier stepped forward nervously. "I'm sorry," he blurted out. "Damn it! Another failure," the soldier yelled. Panic spread fast. A mutated recruit screamed. Something had clearly gone very wrong again. Youngjun arrived, calm. "Well, not so smooth," he muttered. The mutated soldier snarled. No longer human, eyes locked on targets. The biggest problem isn't turning, he thought. It's their unstable emotions. Awakening too fast pushes them past the point of control. Soldiers backed away. "They just have too much resistance," one said. Others fired as the monster charged. Nothing seemed to work. Most monsters react until they adapt. Then they're unstoppable, Young Jun whispered. Awakening must be done safely. We can't rush this. Gunshots echoed across the field. Everyone turned toward the perimeter, tense and ready, wondering what had triggered the sudden attack. Hey Sarge, over there, a soldier pointed. You really got it? The others followed, eager to confirm the kill. From a distance, they spotted it. At least there's someone who's doing it right, one muttered, slightly impressed for once. Behind the bushes, a wounded mutant beast lay motionless, bleeding heavily. Its breathing was shallow, but it wasn't dead yet. Hey, nice job, a soldier called out. Now we just need someone to finish it off, Young Jun replied calmly. One soldier asked, who's the next in the line to be awakened? Everyone turned, waiting for the name. Young Jun answered confidently, Soo-hyuk from the transportation unit. The others nodded, scanning the crowd for the selected soldier. Soo-hyuk, it's your turn, the commander called. Soo-hyuk responded, ah, yes, sir, and stepped forward without hesitation. Young Jun asked seriously, are you confident? Just target his armpits. Soo-hyuk replied firmly, I've been practicing a lot. Soo-hyuk, make sure to succeed, someone urged. He gulped nervously, sweat forming. This test could change everything for him now. Blood sprayed as Soo-hyuk drove his blade into the mutant. The strike hit clean, his training had paid off instantly. The beast collapsed with a heavy thud. Soo-hyuk stood still, catching his breath, gripping his weapon tightly just in case. The monster's red eye flared once more. Soo-hyuk didn't flinch, he drove his blade deeper before it could rise again. A light flashed above. He looked up, stunned. Something had changed. He felt it in his body and in his mind. Yes, I made it, Soo-hyuk shouted. I see a system panel in front of me. My job is marksman. The squad erupted in cheers. Soo-hyuk stood proud. Great, that makes 5, someone yelled, grinning wide beside Young Jun. Marksman? Is that like a sniper? Young Jun asked. Soo-hyuk nodded, staring at his new status screen still glowing in front. Suddenly, multiple panels appeared. Soo-hyuk looked around, confused. What the hell? More boxes hovered in the air, forming rapidly. Sergeant Young Jun! A strange phrase just popped up, one soldier shouted, staring at the text. Young Jun turned quickly, alarmed. Blue light exploded skyward. The message read, faction forming. Everyone stood stunned, unsure what it meant for the team. A message appeared, you have formed a faction with 5 players, which is the minimum amount. Young Jun's eyes widened. Everyone stared. Faction? What does that mean? Someone asked. No one had seen this kind of message before, new and unexpected. Another screen read, large region, this is the 3rd faction in the rock. Confusion spread across the group quickly. Small region, this is the 1st faction in Rock 1Z. Another window displayed. They were now officially something larger. Young Jun looked around, unsure. I don't get what the messages are talking about. But things were clearly changing again. As soon as Soo-hyuk succeeded in awakening, a strange system message appeared for all 5 who had awakened together. It read, Achievement Get Together. You succeeded in forming a faction faster than the majority. Their coordination had paid off. Another message followed. A special reward will be given. 3rd place reward, Elixir of Growth X10. They were stunned. Elixir of Growth, for a limited time your experience gain will increase by 50%. Young Jun knew it meant action soon. Young Jun, what do we do now? Someone asked. First, gather the awakened. Emergency meeting. Everyone else go back inside. Under the dim light the awakened gathered. 10 per person, one said. Another muttered, this is feeling more like a game. That's right, a faction, Young Jun confirmed. I guess the condition was 5 awakened. Everyone started realizing what they had triggered together. If the message is true, Young Jun added cautiously, we can advance faster now. But concern lingered behind his steady tone. One soldier spoke up, I'm more concerned about the phrase, 3rd place. His tone was sharper, more serious than before. If we're 3rd, then there's a 1st and 2nd, he said. That means there are monsters outside our region. The room went quiet. One soldier clenched his fists. I guess so, he muttered, fear flickering behind his eyes. He looked out the window, voice trembling. So what about our families? The thought hit harder than any monster. Another replied grimly, if the military's like this, imagine outside. Their minds raced, picturing their loved ones in chaos. Young Jun stayed silent, the weight of truth settling. He looked at everyone, seeing the same fear in their eyes. Everyone's minds were filled with their families. They might have been swept away by the monsters, he finally admitted, voice low. Young Jun stepped forward. Let's not think too badly about it, he said calmly. The room's tension eased just slightly. I'm worried about the situation outside, he admitted. But we have to make sure we're safe first. Everyone nodded slowly. One soldier hesitated. That's true, but he couldn't shake the fear. The idea of loved ones suffering still lingered heavily. I don't know, Young Jun replied, but it means we're ahead of the others in the game. Think about safety first. For now, let's just focus on that, he finished. The others listened quietly, realizing they had to survive before anything else. He lowered his gaze and exhaled. Yes, Young Jun is right. The room fell silent, tension turning into acceptance. Only if we survive can we find and save our families. Outside, soldiers prepared again, hope now grounded in resolve. The soldiers stood in silence. Only awakened are useful now, someone muttered. Others nodded. Pressure hung heavy in the air. He watched from the side, eyes sharp. He's right, he thought. Ordinary skills don't matter anymore in this chaos. He clenched his fist. Everything's different. If you're normal, you're ignored. Survival now depends on powers, not training. A soldier nudged him. Weren't you a marksman? That trait of yours? Could it help now? Hope flickered briefly. He looked up. Maybe, he replied, but shooting's not enough anymore. I need to awaken or I'll be left behind. The soldier frowned. Is it that good? I'm worried about bullets. We might run out of them when we get attacked. He grinned without hesitation. Oh, don't worry about that, he replied. I won't waste a single shot. You'll see that soon enough. The battle began. Chaos erupted. If a normal soldier needs 10 shots to take down one man, he said, raising his rifle. The monster let out a roar, and flames erupted from its sides, making it look even stronger than it thought. I only need 2. He shot smoothly and precisely. His target fell instantly. The rest stood there dumbfounded, completely silent. With your skills, the man smiled, we'll defeat the monsters much faster. Our chances of survival just got a lot better, seriously. Exactly, the officer shouted, slamming his hand on his shoulder. You're officially in charge of monster suppression from now on. He stood up straight and answered without hesitation. Yes, sir. The room greeted him with firm nods and growing confidence. He exhaled slowly. Thank goodness, we finally have some breathing room. But behind his eyes, a new burden was quietly building. The other soldier looks uncertain about what will happen next. His face looks tense. He feels there will be a problem. The squad leader grinned confidently. Are you ready, cowards? He asked, trying to spark courage in his uncertain, nervous team. Soldiers gathered near the wreckage. Is it my turn? One asked hesitantly. The mission to awaken others had just begun. Many agreed to face the blackened ruins without protest. One soldier trembled, whispering, I can't do it, I'll die. Calm down, the leader said gently. Let's eat and talk. He offered food, hoping it would ease the soldiers' panic. Another soldier approached quietly, watching them. Sergeant Young-jun? He asked, uncertain whether to interrupt the moment of unexpected peace. The mutated soldier punches the monster, stunning it. Not bad, huh? He says proudly, showing unexpected strength in front of everyone. A voice shouted, he suddenly transformed too. The observers were shocked. Another ordinary soldier had risen into something stronger and more dangerous. Young-jun reassured the recruit. Relax, take it easy. Just come with me. The soldier hesitated, answering nervously, what? Still unsure. The other soldier frowned, wondering what was happening right now. He felt confused. He thought something was wrong. Suddenly, another fight erupts. Monstrous screech pierces the air. Awakened soldier battles a beast, screaming as it claws at him. Young-jun glanced back nervously. The soldier stared at him in silence, sensing something strange behind those calm, careful eyes. Hey, Young-jun, I need to ask you something, the soldier said, stepping forward, voice steady but filled with suspicion. Young-jun stopped walking. What'd you want to know all of a sudden? He asked, trying to keep his tone casual and calm. You're hiding something. Some kind of power we don't know about. Every soldier returns braver after your little talks, he said. Young-jun forced a nervous smile, sweat forming. Damn. He got me, he thought, realizing his secret might not last much longer. Young-jun spoke seriously. I had to do it for the sake of the battalion's unity. His tone was firm. The soldier frowned. Huh? What does that mean? Young-jun replied quietly. You're the only one who knows. I can't keep hiding it. Young-jun reached out slowly, signaling trust. The other soldier looked tense, but listened carefully, unsure what this sudden confession would reveal. The voiceover continued. Fortunately, Minjae understood me and focused on awakening the troops. Trust had been established, mission moving forward. Minjae stepped up to lead. The soldiers behind him watched closely, unsure what change was coming, but ready to follow. Young-jun swept the floor calmly. While others fought, I decided to focus on cooking, he said, choosing a different path. A status screen appeared. Awakened Young-jun. Job, novice chef. Surprised, he stared at the list of unlocked talents and skills. 82 points? When did that happen? Young-jun blinked. I thought points only increased from hunting monsters or cooking excellent meals. He focused on the glowing number. 82 points, Young-jun whispered. I think I can use these for something useful soon. Looking at nearby crates, Young-jun said, usually in games, points buy items. Maybe there's something like that here too. Young-jun extended his finger toward the screen. Let's see. Point store, he mumbled, trying to activate the hidden feature. The interface responded instantly. A bright light flashed across the kitchen. The words appeared, opening the point store in bold. Transparent panels materialized. Young-jun stepped back slightly, startled by the response. His heart raced as options filled the screen. He leaned in, eyes wide. Here it is. The point store loaded, listing various upgrades, tools, and hidden skills to buy. Yeah, you can only do so much with your basic abilities. Why didn't I think of this before? He said. Youngjun tapped the glowing panel with curiosity. Let's take a look, he said, eager to browse the store's contents. Various items appeared before him. A combat axe, a steel knife, even simple bread, each with a point value listed. He scanned silently, frowning. Nothing seemed suited to his support role. His eyes narrowed as he sighed in mild frustration. Mostly just stuff for the combat class, Youngjun muttered, feeling slightly left out by the system's weapon-focused offerings. His gaze settled on one item. The only thing I could use is rye bread, he said, pointing cautiously. Youngjun swiped to a new section. Huh? This is... he muttered, surprised by the list of powerful-sounding items. The screen displayed potions and book strength, agility, magic boosts, and a random skill book. They sound good, but too expensive. He frowned, realizing the price was out of reach. And I can't afford them right now, he admitted, feeling a bit frustrated. Turning away, Youngjun decided, skills and traits are important, so I'll have to look at that store again later. He tapped again and nodded. I'm using Chef's special sauce and Chef's eye well, he said, getting back to work. Youngjun's face is serious, with a doubtful expression. He thinks to look at the skills on the system board. Youngjun taps the screen and activates the skill, Novice Dagger Proficiency. The screen glows as he focuses on it. The skill allows him to naturally master the fighting stance with a dagger, improving his balance, grip, and reaction time. I've never trained in real combat, he thinks, and his hand is seen quickly reaching for the knife. Without a word, Youngjun picks up the knife. His expression tenses. That's enough for now, he mutters to himself. Youngjun unlocks a new trait, Beginner Fire Ability. Also, he whispers, remembering how it activated during the kitchen accident. I can hold fire in my hand for 3 seconds. The sensation is strange, but very useful in some situations. Finally, the most important skill, he says, opening the system to find out which important skill to use. As Youngjun opens the system, it proudly tells him the power of his beginner cooking ability. Like the desired accumulation, Min-jae smiles. It tastes good and feels energizing. My stats increased after eating it. Youngjun nods. Really? He asked. Youngjun spoke thoughtfully. No one else seemed to notice. Isn't it because unawakened soldiers don't have the status window yet? One soldier nodded. Oh, that's true. They continued eating, unaware the hidden buffs from Youngjun's cooking worked without system notifications. The effects don't show as a system message, Youngjun explained. You probably wouldn't recognize my abilities without seeing actual results. Curious, Youngjun asked, so, how does it feel? The soldier answered, my strength stat increased by 3, but feels much greater. Youngjun stood silently, arms crossed. He watched carefully and thought, the buffs are definitely working. That's all the confirmation I need. Youngjun glanced at the dishes. At least in our situation, my chef skills aren't underperforming, he thought with satisfaction. He crossed his arms, thinking deeply. If only this kind of buff could be applied to the entire battalion. Suddenly, hurried footsteps echoed. Sergeant Youngjun, we need you, a soldier shouted urgently, breathless from running across the kitchen hallway. Youngjun turned quickly. What's going on? He asked, confused by the panic. His eyes narrowed, sensing something seriously wrong approaching. The soldier gasped, face pale. It's a new type of monster, he shouted, barely catching his breath after sprinting there. A towering black beast appeared, completely different from lizards. Its deep growl echoed across the battlefield, sending fear through everyone nearby.
The sun was shining as Sergeant Youngjun walked over to the group, boots clicking lightly. The others stood waiting, eyebrows raised. Whatever this was, it had interrupted their break? A soldier explained he'd spotted something odd during patrol, nothing like they'd seen before. He pointed toward the horizon, handing over binoculars with a hesitant nod, eyes still wide. Youngjun took the binoculars calmly, wondering what kind of creature had them this spooked. Even before looking, Youngjun sensed tension. The officer next to him looked pale and stiff. The thing was crouched low near a ridge, nearly blending into the shade and trees. Someone mumbled about what type of monster it could be. It didn't match past threats. Youngjun focused through the lens, squinting a bit. Just a lizard, nothing wild, or so he thought. Then his eyes locked onto something else behind it, something huge and crawling from the shadows. Thick limbs shifted in the gloom, revealing scales, claws, and a mess of pulsing veins. A low hum filled the air as the creature stirred, massive, purple, and clearly alive. Its muscles rippled with energy, awakening like it had sensed eyes watching from afar. One enormous yellow eye snapped open, glowing, staring directly back through the binoculars. Youngjun flinched, breath caught, then the beast lunged, and everyone on the rooftop froze in fear. Youngjun lowered binoculars slowly, his heart pounding. Whatever it was heading straight over. He bit his lip, gaze narrowing. The thing wasn't wandering, it actively approaching their position. Judging by size alone, that lizard-like creature had to be at least 3 meters long. The strange part was how normal lizards followed behind it, almost like it was their leader. The soldiers murmured, realizing this wasn't usual behavior. Monsters weren't supposed to move in organized groups. Maybe the creature wasn't from this area. The others had all come from nearby training grounds. That purple one didn't match. Its horns, posture, and aura were completely different, like Commander. More lizards gathered behind it, maybe 20 or more, all focused and in sync. The squad began strategizing. They dealt with worse, and Soo-hyuk was their strongest asset. But even with a plan, something about this whole encounter gave Young-jun a strange gut feeling. It wasn't just the numbers they were outnumbered before. This time felt off in a subtle way. The beast had been there since dawn, never charging, only circling like it was testing something. Young-jun frowned, thinking about their behavior. They weren't mindless, this calculated, like they were waiting, and then it clicked. He muttered under his breath and looked back toward the ridge. The monster hadn't attacked yet because it was waiting for the right moment and opening in defense. Young-jun realized the creatures weren't charging because they understood this wasn't a fight they'd win directly. Instead, they stayed just close enough to study and scout, testing the soldiers' response time. One of the men doubted they were smart, but Young-jun wasn't so sure anymore. Wolves hunted in teams, and these stood upright. That alone meant they could be smarter. Shin suggested an aggressive move, wondering if it better to strike before they're overwhelmed later. But Young-jun shook his head. They had the high ground, the advantage of solid walls and gear. If they left the base, they'd lose structure, cover, and the confidence that came with it. So the squad agreed, watch from a distance and buy time to form a solid plan. Meanwhile, they'd update command and keep things steady, making sure no one panicked too early. Young-jun looked to the sky, knowing once fear spread, it would weaken their whole unit. Outside the base, the creatures still lingered, waiting silent, shadowed, and unreadable from the rooftop. Back inside, the kitchen crew had started their daily rhythm like always, quietly prepping lunch. A new dish simmered with calming sauce flavors, balanced to soothe nerves and lift moods. The troops sat together, quiet at first, but slowly the tension seemed to melt away. Kimchi, sprouts, and warmth filled the air, comfort food doing what weapons and words sometimes couldn't. The kitchen prepped chefs' faith-infused dishes, hearty pork and vegetables, warm enough to steady anxious hearts. Young-jun moved quietly through the halls, thinking about his family and the people still out there. If he'd made it this far, surely the others had found ways to survive too. Despite the pressure, morale stayed high. Everyone stayed sharp, focused, and ready for what's next. With 20 awakenings confirmed, nearly a fifth of the battalion was now stronger than before. The sun dipped lower, casting shadows. Young-jun noted how the monsters stayed just outside firing range. Their positions were precise, never clumped, always shifting clearly, not random, not without intent. Still, with new marksman awakenings, they had a solid chance to keep the upper hand. Soo-hyuk and others trained hard, perfecting bursts, timing, and aim. They were no longer rookies in a crisis. Young-jun remained confident. If they countered smartly and kept pace, they wouldn't lose this fight. The food storage room was quiet. Young-jun reviewed inventory, thinking a week's worth might be enough. With any luck by then, troops would operate on their own. No buffs, just grit. He carefully updated his notes, taking stock before a sharp flicker cut through the room. Lights died out. Young-jun froze mid-step, holding a can. His heart skipped from the sudden dark. He stared upward, confused. The generators had no issues earlier, so why had the power just gone out? Young-jun stood still, realizing the blackout wasn't just local. Something was wrong across the entire base. Outside the walls, monsters shifted forward, their eyes glowing brighter, almost like they'd been waiting. A chill ran down his spine. If they'd coordinated this, the timing was dangerously perfect. He dropped the clipboard, heart pounding. No lights, no alerts, no time. They were already exposed. Without hesitation, Young-jun sprinted down the hallway, footsteps echoing loud against the tile floor. Young-jun ran harder, panic creeping in. This wasn't just risky anymore, it was seriously dangerous. He'd trusted the marksman could handle it, but only if visibility stayed clear and steady. Without power, everything was shadows and silence. He knew even trained eyes couldn't shoot blind. From above, the base looked peaceful, but Young-jun knew without light, their defense was practically useless. Troops scrambled under the stars, boots pounding the dirt, urgency written on every face around them. Orders flew as marksmen climbed rooftops, rifles ready, eyes scanning the distant tree line for movement. Young-jun stood still, calm in chaos, assigning awakened fighters their posts with surprising clarity and ease. Soldiers dashed across concrete, ducking under floodlights, some hauling gear while others braced behind sandbags. With everyone in position, the depot sealed tight. They waited, hearts thudding like distant war drums. Barricades slammed shut, heavy and final, while guards locked them down with shaking hands and firm grip. Behind them, crates of ammunition gleamed coldly, the last stockpile between survival and annihilation. Young-jun asked for status updates, scanning each squad's readiness as flare shells were passed around quickly. Flare rounds would give light, maybe time, though no one knew how long they'd truly last. The threat wasn't endless, but Young Jun knew delays meant casualties. Their timing had to be perfect. Young Jun confirmed Awaken teams were deployed in formation, flanking the rooftop marksmen with trained coordination. Mages were split evenly, casting protective circles and offensive wards near outer fences and key paths. Warriors stood guard, muscles tense, guarding choke points, waiting for the first shriek of what approached. Young Jun had served them boosted stews spiked with magic herbs to keep morale and stamina riding high. Energy flared around every soldier's body, shimmering softly, armor enchanted, weapons glowing with faint magical threads. Young Jun gripped the short blade tightly, the metal cool in his hand, nerves steady beneath calm. Despite being a chef, he stepped forward, instincts guiding him where orders couldn't quite reach. His brother knew it was pointless to argue. Young Jun's eyes already burned with that stubborn fire. Lanterns swung overhead as wind picked up, carrying the rising tension through the camp. From a distance, the first faint sounds came, quiet rustles growing louder, pressing closer with menace. Young Jun sharpened focus as the signal sounded. Blinding flares burst into the sky one after another. Light exploded across the battlefield, scattering long shadows where fear had once taken root. Everything paused just for a second before the rumble began like thunder rolling over hills. From their posts, soldiers steadied themselves, eyes wide, scanning the flickering light for movement ahead. Young Jun's breath caught in his throat as he saw the wave of beasts rushing forward. Dozens, maybe hundreds, tore across ground, lean shapes, glowing eyes, claws slashing through dirt and air. Their howls pierced through the light, the sound sending a chill across every spine in range. The monsters were fast, terrifyingly fast, but Young Jun didn't flinch. His feet dug firmly into the soil. From high above, the battlefield glowed beneath the flares, a waiting stage set for chaos. Troops waited below, eyes on the captain, whose next word would unleash everything they'd prepared for. The command dropped like a hammer. Troops snapped into action, nerves locking into trained, practiced rhythm. Muzzles flared across the barricade as bullets tore into the charging swarm under flaring spotlights. Every soldier's grip tightened, no room for hesitation now, only sharp aim and controlled bursts. Gunfire echoed loud and relentless, metal meeting flesh as the monsters slammed against the fence. Sparks danced with blood as lines blurred between defense and desperation at the perimeter's edge. Bullets streamed like fiery rain, lighting the field with streaks of fury and sharpened resolve. A beast fell, another climbed over it, their claws dug deep, eyes glowing with wild hunger. Chaos surged as fighters shouted, some falling back, others pushing forward with everything they had. Young Jun stayed focused, watching the battle unfold, quietly thankful for the strength he'd cooked into meals. Behind his steady thoughts, a low roar trembled the air. The larger threat had finally arrived. The boss monster charged, its massive limbs crushing dirt, armor like hide absorbing bullets like rain. Young Jun's heart pounded. This one was different, meaner, faster, and far more cunning than the rest. The troops recognized it too. The sound of gunfire sharpened as focus shifted in unison. The creature growled, leaping past fallen allies, its glowing eyes locked on the rooftop defenders. Marksmen repositioned quickly, zeroing in with deadly calm, their sights locked on the real threat. Magazines clattered on the crates as troops scrambled to reload and return fire without pause. One soldier stepped up, heart pounding, confident he could land the shot that would matter. Rifle raised, breath steady, he locked onto the moving beast with laser-sharp focus and grit. From behind, Young Jun noticed something off. The battlefield rhythm had changed. Too quiet, too focused. His eyes flickered with system light, something hidden catching his attention from beyond the shadows. An alert flared. Young Jun's abilities weren't working. Some unseen force was dampening his chef-enhanced perception. The largest lizard stood still briefly, towering above the swarm, eyes gleaming with twisted intelligence. The system tagged it clearly, Lizard Chieftain, leader of the Horde, strongest among them all. Young Jun whispered its title to himself, realizing this was the true fight they'd been fearing. It moved too quickly for normal eyes, dodging bullets, slicing through air with bone-splitting speed. Young Jun's gut tightened. This one was evolved, not just physically stronger but mentally sharper than expected. The lizard's roar cracked the sky as it unleashed purple waves of pure magical pressure. Shockwaves rippled outward, twisting the air and hurling back even the most solidly armored warriors. Monsters roared in answer, charging harder, faster, feeding off the chieftain's overwhelming, terrifying energy. Purple rings expanded across the battlefield, blurring the line between strategy and raw survival instinct. A wave of purple energy slammed through the ranks, dropping soldiers to their knees with pain. Some clutched heads, others stumbled. Confusion fogged their minds like smoke after an unexpected kitchen fire. Young Jun gritted his teeth, bracing against the mental shock, barely holding on to clarity through sheer will. His senses sparked some kind of status effect, heavy and deliberate, targeting their morale and focus. The system confirmed it. Every lizard had grown stronger, faster, tougher in a matter of seconds. Panic spread among the soldiers as alerts listed buffed enemies and a resistance to bullets. Young Jun and the others stared in disbelief. Every lizard now seemed nearly immune to direct fire. The battlefield tilted, reality bending under the new rules cast by the enemy's battle cry. Those closest to the chieftain grew sharper. Everyone else felt dizzier, slower, like fighting underwater. Young Jun ran to regroup, urgency written across his face, trying to find the others' positions fast. Notifications swirled midair, and Young Jun felt heaviness spreading, thoughts foggy, footsteps uncertain on solid ground. Nearby, soldiers clutched their heads, weapons lowered as dizziness overwhelmed their trained reflexes. The rooftop gunners struggled, most every shot wide, every movement delayed by creeping confusion. Commanders began shouting across the field, surprised at how deeply one skill had turned the tide. Eyes widened as Chieftain's presence loomed larger, more terrifying with each second of spreading influence. Eyes narrowed. Young Jun sensed something shift again. Monsters were moving faster, pulsing with eerie purple light. A fresh wave charged forward, more aggressive, their bodies crackling with the Chieftain's lingering energy. One beast roared, mouth wide, eyes wild, as if possessed by raw chaos itself. On the rooftop, marksmen hesitated, vision foggy, shaken by the strange aura warping their perception. One soldier grabbed head, frustrated, too many missed shots. Too much pressure was starting to crumble. Gunther stormed over, furious, watching soldiers freeze mid-battle, their hands trembling from mental interference and fear. His voice cut through the haze, snapping focus back. There was no room left for panic. Monsters charged through the smoke, fast and ruthless, clawing into vehicles like paper and dust. Screams echoed as armored trucks skidded, headlights flickering while chaos swallowed the night whole. One beast leapt, crashing through steel, eyes glowing with fury, sparks trailing behind its claws. Sergeant Chin leaned out the window, gripping the ledge, watching the battlefield unravel below. His eyes narrowed. Normal rounds were useless. This thing was different. It moved with terrifying purpose. Lightning surged through clenched fists as a soldier stepped forward, readying himself for something big. Chin stared, confused. That kind of strength, why hadn't it been used before tonight? The soldier muttered about temporary buffs, probably triggered by timing, maybe a final failsafe. The creature stood waiting, eerily still. It knew how long it could hold the advantage. Young Jun called for backup, gathering the awakened quickly. Time was short and distance meaningless now. They circled up fast, a sea of uniforms tense, waiting for orders and reassurance. Young Jun looked grim, eyes scanning their faces. This was it, the shift in their survival plan. He reached into a pouch, handing out something round, soft, and strangely familiar to everyone. Each soldier stared at it, puzzled. In the middle of crisis, snacks weren't expected. But Young Jun just nodded. If they were going down, they'd do it with full stomachs. Young Jun gave a smirk, ready to reveal the one secret he'd been holding all along. Standing over the stove, he held the dish proudly. His cooking wasn't just for taste. His meals actually boosted strength, awareness, even courage. Every plate packed power beyond the ingredients. Soldiers thought back, realizing those meals before battles had always made them feel stronger somehow. The realization hit: the food wasn't comfort, it was strategy, designed to help them survive. Young Jun had made each portion tailored, knowing they'd need everything if this night turned deadly. Encouraged by the reveal, the squad stood taller, each heartbeat sinking with rising confidence. One of them took charge, rallying everyone not to fall back, not tonight. With loud cheers and steady boots, the entire group locked in, ready to defend hard. Young Jun's eyes scanned them, buffed, united, and braver than ever. They were finally ready now. Kwang-il stepped forward, clenched his fist, and accepted the lead with fire in his eyes. His plate had premium ingredients, boosting his strength more than anyone else in the squad. He roared, powered by faith and seasoning, sprinting straight toward the monster without hesitation. The rest followed close behind, a wall of resolve crashing through fear and gunfire. Their bodies glowed faintly, every stat amped up, hearts steady. Tonight they'd fight like legends. Lightning surged through Kwang-il's arms. The food hit him like a shot of adrenaline. The monsters charged again, faster this time, screeching as their claws tore through broken fencing. Soldiers leapt from their posts, weapons raised, meeting the flood of shadows with fearless hearts. Young Jun looked up, nerves steady. He hoped the buffs would hold through this brutal clash. One soldier stepped forward, jaw tight. He sprinted head-on, the glow from his boots rising. A barrier spell activated above them, crackling like fire as the front line pushed forward. Screams and war cries echoed as fists and steel collided with fur, bone, and claws. One clean hit from Kwang-il sent a monster flying, crashing through stacked crates nearby. Another beast followed, snarling, but got blasted back by two soldiers striking from the side. The rest poured in fast and wild, forcing the team to tighten formation quickly. A dark shadow lunged, but the squad responded, countering with synchronized bursts of steel and heat. Laser beams ripped past their heads, pinning another creature just before it leapt in. Explosions rang out, magical blasts, grenades, and fire spells overlapping in beautiful, terrifying chaos. Kwang Il spun, slamming a monster down while others kept focus, dodging sharp teeth and claws. Energy still coursing through him, Young Jun shouted orders, rallying the troops before they lost control. The monsters barreled through the front line, clawing soldiers off their feet without slowing down. Screams cut through the night as bodies hit the ground, uniforms torn and blood splattered. Young Jun rushed forward, ignoring fear, eyes locked on the lizard chieftain leading the charge. The monster hissed, tail whipping wide, but Young Jun ducked low and slipped right under. His blade caught a glint under moonlight, pulled steady from his belt like instinct. He slashed quick, carving through thick scales, then leapt aside before claws reached his throat. Young Jun gritted his teeth, breath heavy. Even buffed, their leader was something entirely different. Kwang Il roared nearby, slamming a monster down with a punch that shook the dirt. Young Jun pulled another snack from his pouch, no time for meals, just enough for a boost. He lunged back into the fight, slamming fists and steel where monsters dared approach. Eyes glowing with focus, Young Jun activated a skill flavor magic infused directly into his strikes. Each hit now packed impact beyond muscle, slicing spiritual resistance with sharpened heat. The chieftain howled, taking a hit across the jaw and stumbling through crates behind. Young Jun gave chase, never letting up, slamming an elbow down before the beast recovered. All around him, the battalion held firm spice strength, keeping every soldier locked in place. Young Jun narrowed his gaze, locking on to the final threat still standing in the battlefield dust. The mutated beast crouched low, muscles tensed, eyes burning wild as it launched forward violently. Saliva dripped between fangs as it roared, ready to tear through anyone in its path. Behind Young Jun, allies surged, new traits awakening mid-battle, instincts sharper, movements synced like a pack. One soldier broke free from confusion, the red aura swirling as bravery overpowered the fear. The soldiers charged behind Kwang Il, feet pounding dirt, their spirits lifted by pure fiery momentum. Lightning cracked across the sky as he roared, veins lit red, completely consumed by battle rage. The sky darkened as a horde of monsters surged toward the crumbling military base entrance. Troops scrambled into position, rallying under orders, hoping the barricades could hold just a bit longer. Kwang Il stepped forward, silent but fierce, ready to carve through chaos like a sharpened kitchen knife. Without hesitation, he lunged ahead, boots digging into dirt, slicing a path through the swarming creatures. Flames danced behind him, awakening something deep, his instincts now sharper than they'd ever been. His body moved faster, stronger, something inside had clicked, as if perfectly tempered under pressure. One beast lunged, snarling, teeth glinting, but Kwang Il didn't flinch, eyes locked on the target. In one clean motion, he deflected the claws, then buried his blade deep into its chest. Ground cracked beneath him as he launched again, momentum unstoppable, slicing through monster after monster. Energy surged through him, awakening a power fueled not by fury but by absolute purpose. Young Jun noticed the change, his stats doubled, his movements quicker thanks to Kwang Il's prepared meal. Sword glowing, Young Jun joined the battle, cutting through shadows like a dancer with perfect rhythm. Their squad, now blazing with strength, pushed forward, confidence high, monsters faltering under their fierce teamwork. They shifted formation quickly, Young Jun holding line while Kwang Il supported from the flanks with sharp precision. As chaos raged, each knew their role, and in this madness, they'd found perfect harmony. Lightning surged as Young Jun shouted encouragement, blades clashing just beyond the trembling defensive line. Energy from Kwang Il's food still burned strong. Every strike felt quicker, every movement more certain. The soldiers unleashed synchronized barrage, eyes sharp, breathing steady, trusting their comrades at every side. Young Jun struck with pinpoint precision, tearing through scales and muscle, turning the tide blow by blow. But just as he advanced, a scream behind him made his stomach drop suddenly. Kwang Il and his squad were caught in red arcs, the beast's limbs swinging like blades. Young Jun turned to help, but the monster leapt again, roaring loud enough to shake rooftops. The soldiers braced themselves as claws slammed down, weapons cracking under the sheer force. Blood sprayed across the field, red flashing against moonlight as another soldier fell to the ground. A piercing eye locked onto Young Jun, massive, burning, filled with something more than instinct. Kwang Il gritted his teeth, facing the creature alone now, the others struggling to stay upright. The beast coiled around him, then struck fast, a sudden blow flinging him into the air. His body hit the ground hard, vision blurry, the monster's laughter echoing in his skull. It lifted him effortlessly, eyes meeting his, full of rage, or was it recognition? The grip tightened. Kwang Il's breath caught. Everything slowed as the creature raised him toward the sky. The monster roared, mouth wide with rage, but its focus slipped just for a moment. A shift in its eye, recognition sparked, and that's when Kwang Il made his move. Gripping the beast's flesh, he surged upward, clawing his way with sheer will and strength. Blood soaked his sleeves, but his grip never faltered as he climbed the massive shoulder. With a shout, he lunged higher, aiming for the eye. The beast flailed in panic. The beast screeched as Kwang Il dug in deeper, anchoring himself against the bucking monster's force. Youngjun followed his lead, leaping up, striking from the opposite side, blades glowing electric blue. Their teamwork stunned the monster. It stumbled, confused, overwhelmed by the precise, coordinated assault. With one last lift, the soldiers slammed the creature down in a crater of dust. The battlefield fell quiet for a breath, then erupted with the monster's pained, echoing wail. Through the settling dust, Kwang Il stepped forward, glowing red, eyes sharp, body thrumming with power. Without hesitation, he launched skyward again, energy flaring around him like a burst of wildfire. Youngjun and the others covered him, blades flashing, keeping the monster rooted in place. Kwang Il came down hard, crashing directly onto its chest, tearing through thick hide and bone. Landing beside the fallen beast, he exhaled slowly. The fight wasn't over, but they'd turned it. Kwang Il let out a roar, fury surging as he struck with everything he had. His punch landed like thunder, knocking the massive beast backward with a bone-cracking blast. The monster staggered, trying to recover, but its movements were slowing, its body drenched in blood. Youngjun leapt again, eyes blazing, slamming into the beast's side as red light exploded around them. Together, they hit it hard, one final, united blow shaking the entire battlefield in response. Blood rained down as Kwang Il stood above the fallen beast, shoulders heaving, soaked but unbroken. He looked toward the others, eyes wild, heart still racing as victory began to settle in. The monster collapsed, unmoving, while around it, the last defenders regrouped in exhausted relief. Youngjun and Kwang Il exchanged nods, no words needed. The mission was done. They'd survived. From above, the aftermath revealed silence. The base still stood. Their stand hadn't been in vain, Youngjun called out, rallying the unit, checking injuries, securing the area, counting who remained. The soldiers responded with tired smiles, bruised and bloodied, but somehow still able to laugh. Kwang Il walked slowly, eyes scanning the battlefield, quietly making sure every life was accounted for. Even without full strength, they'd succeeded. Their unity had pushed them beyond what seemed possible. With Area 17 secured, their battalion was officially recognized, their team, now something far greater. Youngjun stared at the glowing interface, heart pounding. Something major was unfolding before his eyes. The system confirmed it. Their squad's effort had officially triggered a global occupation battle status. Area 17 was now recognized, 2 groups dominated, but the 423 battalion stood strong. Though listed as unofficial, their contribution shimmered clearly, proof of grit, unity, and raw survival instinct. Kwang Il watched silently, bloodied and bruised, as the system named him first-place reward recipient. No words needed. The sun rose gently over distant hills, casting gold across the land they nearly lost. Youngjun stood quietly, smiling at the light, proud and exhausted. They truly earned this victory. Chaos erupted outside the dorms as survivors rushed to safety, the air thick with panic. Inside, soldiers struggled to carry wounded comrades, navigating the cramped hallways littered with broken gear. Every inch of the base became a triage zone, bodies, bandages, and tension everywhere. Stretcher after stretcher arrived as medics shouted for supplies, desperately trying to keep everyone alive. Healers like Minjae worked non-stop, their hands glowing faintly with energy, eyes never leaving the injured. Green light shimmered across torn flesh, closing wounds as pain faded from twisted limbs and torsos. Despite exhaustion, both medics and awakened healers like Minjae pushed themselves far beyond their limits. A grateful soldier blinked in disbelief, the agony gone. Minjae moved on without a word. Back at the hallway, Si-kyun surveyed the scene, finally seeing signs of order returning. With a relieved grin, Youngjun credited the recovery to their teammates, especially Hwang Il and Soo-hyuk. Hwang Il was resting now, drained from overuse of his powers, his body completely sprawled in bed. No one had seen the commander. Rumors said he vanished before the final assault began. That didn't surprise Youngjun. Leadership often disappeared when consequences loomed, leaving behind chaos to report. Outside, under the bright sky, Se-kyun confirmed they'd taken the entire range surrounding the valley. At the map table, their hard-fought territory was marked victory, carved through effort, not command. Their team held the highest peak, gazing out over the forest and rocky cliffs below. The only remaining threat in the area was the lizards nesting along the outer range. Youngjun noticed something on his screen, a recognition message that made him raise his eyebrows. He wondered if holding the most iconic peak influenced the recognition they'd just received. Nearby, Soo-hyuk and others finished clearing the last wave of lizards from the mountain. Their victory confirmed it. They were now the officially recognized occupants of the mountain range. Youngjun smiled at the news, knowing it would boost morale and strengthen their standing. Still, something felt off. He suspected the enemy had suffered serious losses in yesterday's brutal clash. He floated the idea of launching a counterattack, thinking they might finally end this fight. But reality hit. Yesterday's success had more to do with the terrain than sheer strength. Their defensive position had helped immensely, and even one mistake could have turned the tide badly. More awakenings were happening though, and that brought hope to Youngjun's already eager thoughts. He was reminded not to rely on the temporary buff from the special meals anymore. Each dish had been crafted with care, hours of work, balanced flavors, not something mass-produced. Youngjun was genuinely surprised. He thought those complex meals had been pre-made for military use. Youngjun had been preparing for this assault carefully, even planning the meals to perfection. Without top-grade ingredients and more awakenings, success wouldn't have been possible under normal conditions. He admitted an average buff might work, but nothing matched the impact of his special dishes. Seokhyun realized he had underestimated the food's role and decided to respect it more. They walked to the next task, one more truck of lizard bodies still waiting. It felt endless. Every load revealed more corpses, and no space left to bury them. Youngjun scanned through the interface again, stopping at the list of options he'd unlocked. Perks from their success were now available, but the choices weren't exactly easy to interpret. Even Seokhyun hesitated. None of options offered clear explanations or obvious benefits on the surface. Youngjun still felt unsure, but Seokhyun nudged him toward deciding quickly, trusting his instinct. Others nearby assured Youngjun they'd support whatever he chose, especially after everything he'd already done. With no commander to consult, he took a breath and made the final decision. He picked the mobile fortress Bimana, intrigued by the solid-sounding name and its possible meaning. When Seokhyun asked why, Youngjun simply pointed out sometimes the name hints at the function. And sure enough, a camouflage tank-like fortress rolled forward, kicking up dust as it arrived. Youngjun knew even unused perks might be essential. Later resources like food wouldn't last forever. Eventually, they'd have to move. The fortress could offer mobility and some much-needed safety. Seokhyun agreed. Without knowing all the details, it still seemed like the smartest choice. Youngjun smiled, reassured by Seokhyun's support, and reached out to confirm the selection. A calm breeze passed as Youngjun's finger pressed the interface, confirming their chosen reward. The system responded instantly, confirming the perk and assigning it to Shin Youngjun directly. Energy pulsed through the air. Everyone nearby turned to watch what would happen next. Youngjun stepped forward confidently, focusing his energy into the summoning sequence without hesitation. As the words left his mouth, power gathered in spirals, signaling the summon's activation. But then movement beyond the gates. A new group of monsters was already closing in. Youngjun and Seokhyun looked up. The fortress wasn't appearing, and time was running out. Suddenly, a message appeared: summoning failed due to insufficient space at the current location. Youngjun froze, stunned. The area was too crowded with debris and fallen monster bodies. They hadn't realized how enormous the fortress might be, or how much room it needed. Surrounded by corpses, Youngjun began to understand they'd need to clear everything before trying again. They moved toward the barracks area, hoping it had enough space for the large summon. The basketball court nearby seemed open enough to try a second summoning attempt. Orders were given, and the team began clearing the last of the remains. Youngjun looked toward the sky, still wondering just how massive the fortress really was. As the sun dipped low, it became clear not even the barracks offered enough room. Sitting quietly, Youngjun accepted the delay, a bit frustrated but focused on future plans. At least the delay gave him time to train and gain a little more experience. The system showed his current class and stats. He'd slowly become stronger through his dishes. For every dish eaten by someone else, Youngjun earned valuable points toward growth. Biting into another snack, Youngjun considered how well things were actually going lately. His strength was increasing, awakenings were accelerating, and morale in the camp had improved greatly. Just then, someone knocked. Youngjun looked up and spotted a familiar face walking in. It was one of the officers, finally tracking him down after all the commotion. Before Youngjun could even speak, the man asked about Lieutenant Kim's whereabouts. Youngjun saluted instinctively, standing straight as he directed the officer to room number 3. Youngjun stood quietly, receiving praise he didn't believe he deserved after everything that happened. Being called just a chef never bothered him until people started using it as limitation. Compliments meant little when people refused to act. Courage was louder when spoken through action. He remembered fear in Command's eyes, frozen while others risked lives to protect the unit. In that moment, Youngjun realized leadership isn't about words, it's about doing what others won't. Leaving the room, he felt the weight of silence, heavier than any weapon he carried. No updates, no signals, just waiting for news that might never come about the missing drivers. Every question reminded him that sometimes no response is already an answer in disguise. 10 days gone. If they'd survived, they would have sent a sign, even something small. He imagined himself sent instead, untrained, unknown, and likely never heard from again like the others. Rumors spread fast, cafeteria shutting down, battle rations would replace everything they knew as normal. Still, Youngjun offered a meal when possible, hoping warmth could survive within cold walls. Most soldiers were injured. Even lifting a spoon felt harder than fighting off monsters outside. The commander focused on survival. Youngjun focused on morale because food gave more than just strength. But doubt lingered. Could one warm dish change anything? He wasn't sure it truly could. A warm dish simmered gently. Youngjun had prepared it for the next awakening candidate's safety. If awakening was painful, he figured comfort food might ease what their bodies endured inside. He offered the same to Lieutenant Kim, knowing what came next couldn't be forced. Youngjun's only concern was survival. If food worked, it didn't matter who or how. Despite doubts, he accepted it. Complaining wouldn't help, and choices were limited out here. No one else would step up. Kim was the last ranking officer they could rely on. If contact with outside forces returned, leadership would matter again, especially someone experienced like him. He sighed quietly, knowing he'd be stuck with responsibilities he never really asked for. Joking about spare food, Youngjun tried to lighten the mood, though nothing felt light these days. Kim lashed out, tension high, but everyone knew why it wasn't really about the food. Even harsh words were let go. Stress had become a part of daily breathing now. The silence afterwards said more than arguments ever could. Fatigue showed even in his eyes. Stepping away, Kim didn't look back. He just needed a few moments to breathe. He muttered softly he had never touched a cigarette in his life, not even once. After the war began, everything blurred. Hope, pain, duty, all mixed into one fading memory. Word spread that things were stabilizing, but Youngjun knew peace always came with a cost. Jokes about rest and missed labor couldn't hide how much everyone had truly endured. Youngjun remained humble. He'd only done what he could like everyone else struggling to survive. There was no miracle cure for some wounds, just quiet acceptance and moving forward slowly. The delay in healing meant permanent damage, but his spirit remained stronger than his legs. He smiled anyway, brushing off pity. Not walking was better than not being alive. But Youngjun couldn't hide his guilt. The weight of past decisions never really faded away. Flashes of that night returned monsters, panic, choices that felt right but ended with pain. He thought maybe pushing the awakening had been too soon, too risky for Taejun. His regret lingered, though no one asked him to carry it on their behalf. A familiar voice called him back, snapping him from thoughts buried too deep in silence. They all tried their best. Without that awakening, no one would have lasted against the threat. Taejun reminded him that the injury came from battle, not from misjudgment or neglect. He reached out sincerely. Their survival was possible because someone like Youngjun never gave up. Emotions surged, but he held back tears. Then Taejun stood wanting to show him something outside. Under the stars, Taejun revealed his new role, something far beyond anyone had expected. Youngjun listened closely, unsure what astronomer meant in a world filled with danger and awakening. It wasn't about telescopes, it was about reading stars, tracking signs, guiding those walking uncertain paths. The sky whispered stories. Taejun just learned to understand what others couldn't begin to hear. Youngjun tried to grasp it. Predicting danger through constellations? Sounded strange, but oddly comforting too. Taejun grinned as Youngjun called it. He was basically a walking radar, always sensing the unseen. Instead of fighting, he could support from afar, mapping threats, planning moves before chaos struck. Youngjun realized then Taejun's value wasn't lost. It had only changed, maybe become even more vital. Taejun smiled, saying he'd seen something in the sky, something that made him worried. He'd spotted two patterns. One was clear: unexpected visitors were coming their way tomorrow. Youngjun froze. Visitors rarely meant good news, especially when they didn't arrive by invitation. They weren't the friendly type. Taejun's expression had shifted. He wasn't joking this time at all. From his wheelchair, Taejun gave one last warning. It was time to stay hidden. Whatever strength Youngjun had, it needed to stay quiet, at least for now. He looked to the stars again, feeling the weight of decisions he hadn't even made. Taejun watched the quiet night sky, holding a calm smile beneath the fading starlight. The stars blinked gently above, a final whisper before darkness gave way to morning light. As night disappeared, the sky shifted, soft blue streaks replacing black, chasing away lingering fears. Birds glided between trees, and sunlight poured through leaves, warming even the coldest thoughts inside. From the tree line, hidden eyes watched closely. Someone had just discovered where the base was located. Word spread fast. A group rushed through the forest, chasing hope toward the distant base. Parents clutched their children tightly, voices trembling with belief that safety might finally be ahead. They moved quickly together, hearts pounding not just from fear, but from a flicker of faith. Past the trees, walls appeared. Their tired eyes lit up. Maybe they'd truly found a sanctuary. On the 11th day, news came of unfamiliar people approaching from beyond the trees. From the rooftop, they observed the group, clothes tattered, steps steady, eyes filled with hope. As they neared the perimeter, Shin Young-jun and his team watched with quiet concern. Ignoring the warning signs, the strangers climbed, searching for safety among unfamiliar military territory. The group seemed lost, like many others before them, wandering with nowhere else to go. Young-jun stood beside his comrade, debating silently, unsure whether to trust them or not. After a long pause, they agreed these people had come far and deserved a chance. With binoculars steady, Young-jun watched their slow ascent, scanning for hidden threats or unseen intentions. He quietly wondered if these were the people the others had mentioned days ago. They opened the gates, guiding the civilians to gather safely within the open courtyard space. Orders were given to calm the group, forming lines and beginning simple registration procedures. One by one, names were written, and warm drinks were shared between cautious smiles. Young-jun counted carefully 25 total, varying in age, background, but all carrying exhaustion in their eyes. They rearranged housing, moving current residents down a floor to make space for newcomers. Plans were made for cleaning, patrol shifts adjusted, and Young-jun smiled another small step toward rebuilding. A shout caught their attention. Lieutenant Kim Hyun-suk had finally arrived to assess the situation. Young-jun stepped aside, watching the lieutenant take command with calm authority and quiet assurance. Civilians gathered around as Kim introduced himself, offering reassurance and clear instructions to follow. One man in the crowd stepped forward, visibly relieved to see someone finally in charge. Questions came quickly about food, protection, and whether there was real hope left to hold. A mother clutched her child, begging for food as the little one cried softly. Kim promised support would come. Everything depended on proper records, patience, and staying calm together. Soldiers began organizing tasks, calling for Min-jae and Young-jun to regroup with the team. Young-jun followed, Kim resting a hand on his shoulder before walking toward the field. He introduced Min-jae as the senior-most, directing questions to him during his own absence. Sergeant Lee confirmed available space. Kim assigned him to housing arrangements with a nod of trust. Volunteers from the new arrivals were asked to help distribute supplies and settle in. Kim reminded them to report issues immediately. Everyone's safety depended on smooth coordination and trust. He turned to Young-jun, emphasizing the urgency of preparing extra food without delay. Young-jun nodded quickly, mentally preparing to serve 25 more meals before the day ended. With 99 soldiers and 25 survivors, Young-jun realized food planning wouldn't be easy anymore. He struggled internally, knowing increasing meal counts might create tension they couldn't afford just yet. Soldiers took over organizing the group while survivors followed instructions, visibly relieved and more cooperative. Many finally felt safe for the first time, even if trust was still fragile. Kim's calm leadership reassured most, but Young-jun couldn't ignore the mixed feelings brewing around him. Even Min-jae noticed the growing divide between following orders and personal opinions among some troops. Still, they all agreed they had to obey for now. Even if grudgingly, Kim's presence alone brought control. People responded more to rank than reason in these conditions. Survivors offered thanks, some tearfully, while others quietly whispered hope for a better tomorrow. Kim's charm worked wonders, even if Young-jun knew he wasn't the strongest among them. Despite doubts, there wasn't time to argue. Young-jun left to prepare meals immediately. Meanwhile, soldiers guided the survivors into the dormitory, assigning rooms and handling basic needs. An elderly man hesitated, worried about the third-floor assignment due to his aching legs. A soldier calmed him down, reassuring him with a firm hand and a laugh. They explained the third floor was safest. Monsters always struck the lowest levels first. Some complained, others adjusted, but soldiers kept the peace and made sure things stayed fair. A cheer rang out in the hall finally, a proper shower after days of dirt. Though the water was cold, no one truly minded. It felt like luxury now. Jokes flew about the lack of heat. Expectations were being reset with every passing hour. Meanwhile, others lined up in the cafeteria, drawn by smells too good to resist. Plates clattered as people ate in silence, then smiled. Real food brought comfort like nothing else. Young-jun quietly observed from afar, proud of how his cooking lifted tired spirits. Despite praise, he worried. Supplies were dwindling fast, and numbers kept rising every day. Emergency rations would soon replace hearty meals. Even one extra serving strained their shrinking stores. He did quick math. At this rate, they'd run out in just over a month. Still, he smiled, accepted kind words from those who appreciated the warm meal. One of the survivors asked about his job, clearly impressed by the food's surprising quality. Young-jun paused, unsure how to answer. His role felt different now than ever before. He looked around at the filled room, then softly echoed the question to himself. Job? Maybe it was more than that. Maybe this was what purpose looked like. Young-jun hesitated, a screen flashing behind his thoughts. His role now said chef, not soldier. He smiled slightly, explaining he'd been a student before enlistment. Nothing special, just an ordinary life. The others nodded, satisfied with the answer, unaware of how deeply the question unsettled him. Young-jun watched them leave, still thinking jobs used to define people. Now they just survived together. He overheard someone mention how rare jobs had become just another thing the world had changed. Young Jun reflected on his status. Others saw warriors or healers, but he simply saw chef. Somewhere nearby, Tae-jun moved with purpose. Perhaps this was the awakening he had warned about before. Shin Young-jun walked down the hallway, his steps echoing through the silent military base. There was more pressure than ever, monsters outside, chaos inside, and no proper leadership guiding them. Outside, soldiers gathered beneath a tree, their faces tired, worn out from endless alerts and patrols. Stress boiled over. Some couldn't take it anymore. No rest, no support, just more responsibility daily. Murmurs of frustration grew louder. They missed when their sergeants led with grit and real care. Despite everything, Shin remembered tough missions, times they'd trusted each other just to stay alive together. Still, there was something odd about Lieutenant Kim. He felt like an outsider, detached and cold. Many wished Kim would just stay away. His presence only brought more questions, never solutions. He vanished when the fighting started, but he'd reappear later smiling, taking credit, greeting survivors warmly. His rank was too high to challenge, but even so, the bitterness kept growing deeper. Now even Shin couldn't deny it anymore. Everyone quietly agreed something felt off about this commander. He'd had doubts before, but pushed them down. Maybe it was time to stop doing that. A real leader stood with his people. Kim never lifted a weapon, not even once. He turned the corner near the communications room, head full of doubts and rising concerns. If nothing changed soon, the team's trust and strength would collapse, and monsters weren't the only threat. Shin took a breath. He needed to suggest something bold, something that could truly shift morale. The soldiers stared, eyes sharp in the dimming light, waiting for a direction they could believe in. He proposed rotating leadership during missions, letting the most trusted, experienced lead when it truly mattered. It wasn't rebellion, it was about survival. They needed leadership that understood blood, sweat, and sacrifice. No one argued. Even the quietest soldiers nodded. They'd all thought it. Shin just said it first. Someone in the back whispered support. That's when Shin knew this wasn't just his fight anymore. Each voice added weight to the room. This was the unity they'd been missing for weeks. Shin reminded them. They weren't disrespecting authority, they were preserving what little strength they had left. Even those hesitant before began to step forward. The silence finally cracking, letting truth through. They wouldn't abandon chain of command, but they'd stop blindly following someone who led from safety. The fire in their eyes returned. They weren't just surviving anymore, they were choosing how to fight. Someone asked what would happen if Kim opposed the plan. Shin answered with calm resolve. They'd follow orders, but never at the cost of their lives or each other's trust again. As dusk fell, the group felt something shift. They weren't alone in this war anymore. With meeting ending, Shin knew tomorrow wouldn't be easy, but at least now they stood together. A hush fell as the others waited. Shin Young-jun's next words felt unexpectedly heavy. He hesitated, then shared honest thought maybe removing Lieutenant Kim was the only way forward. The suggestion shocked them. It crossed a line none of them had dared step over. Some reacted with concern, some with anger. Was it truly right to go that far? Shin stayed composed. The point wasn't rebellion, it was preventing collapse from the inside out. Not everyone agreed. A few still saw Kim as a superior, regardless of his flaws. But others warned, what happens when more survivors come and Kim remains their representative? As time passed, they'd risk falling under his shadow, unable to make real decisions themselves. No one wanted that future being led by someone who never bled beside them. Shin looked around. Everyone had thoughts, doubts, fears, but someone needed to ask the hard questions. He challenged them gently. If Kim had earned respect, they wouldn't be having this conversation. A few nodded in agreement. Others reflected quietly, realizing they'd been uneasy about this too. Someone muttered about past experiences. Sharing a room with Kim had been frustrating even before everything changed. Still, one truth held firm: they were soldiers. And this wasn't how the world used to be. Ignoring everything just because of old ranks didn't work anymore, not in this broken, dangerous new world. Voices clashed again. Some feared this was mutiny. Others saw it as protecting their future. Kwang-il raised concerns: wasn't removing an officer a dangerous line to cross in any military? But Tae-jun didn't flinch. To him, the greater risk was doing nothing at all. Without Lieutenant Kim, the two senior sergeants would be left to lead in his place. Ranks mattered, but in survival, action meant more. Even ordinary soldiers could lead when leadership failed. Some stared in silence, others exchanged glances. The idea sounded reckless, but strangely it made sense. Young-jun didn't speak much, but his calm presence always grounded them even in the worst moments. Tae-jun said it clearly: if enemies came, they'd need someone like Shin Young-jun leading. No one doubted Young-jun's care. He fought, cooked, and looked out for everyone without hesitation. Still, Tae-jun reminded them the plan needed to happen without chaos. Clean, quiet, and certain. Then came disbelief: a cook? A commander? Some scoffed, unable to accept such unconventional idea. But others defended him. Youngjun's food restored strength, lifted spirits, and even boosted their combat focus. He always prioritized their needs. Through food, healing, and presence, he held their group together. One soldier stood tall without Youngjun's buffs. They'd have been long gone, eaten alive out there. As the sun dipped lower, it was clear he'd earned more trust than most commanders had. Tae-jun announced it proudly. Shin Young-jun was now their commander, chosen by everyone with trust. Though some resisted the idea, others cheered, ready to follow someone who had truly led. A sudden light burst above them, followed by a message confirming the group's official new status. Surprised murmurs spread without realizing it. They had formed a recognized clan, a sign of unity. Unlike casual parties, this meant real cohesion. Shin's leadership turned them into something far stronger together. Shin Young-jun's group received recognition, second clan in one region, first another. Word spread fast. As system messages rolled in, rewards were granted. Leadership came with unexpected strength and new responsibilities. Shin stood still, staring at the screen, his title confirmed. Somehow, this felt real now. The sun dipped low as Shin exhaled, pressure rising with every second of silence. The squad stepped forward, eyes full of trust, choosing him to guide them forward. Responsibility hit hard, but Young-jun's resolve deepened. If he had to lead, he'd lead properly. His first act as leader wasn't war, it was mercy, sparking tension in the ranks. Gasps followed, but he stood firm. Some were surprised, others quietly respected the shift. Unrest spread fast. The soldiers couldn't accept sparing someone they once feared and obeyed. Pleas and doubt echoed, frustration bubbling in the hot rooftop air around them all. Young-jun raised his voice, cutting through the noise, calm yet heavy with conviction. He reminded them surviving selfishly would destroy everything good left in their hearts. If they wanted to remain human, they had to start acting like it now. The rooftop crowd slowly calmed, unsure but moved by Young-jun's unwavering sense of hope. A quiet rule was set: only raise weapons when there was true danger, not fear. Young-jun asked for something simple: unity, restraint, and a promise to protect, not destroy. One by one, the men understood. They weren't just soldiers now, they were something more. Even with doubts lingering, they chose to believe, walking forward into uncertainty with purpose. Young-jun stood firm. Even someone broken could still be useful if given the chance. He wasn't defending weakness, he saw potential hidden beneath the mess, waiting to be reclaimed. The others were confused, but stayed silent, watching his calm judgment take shape. Questions rose, but Young-jun's focus had already shifted toward the absence no one expected. Somewhere far off, under starlit skies, movement stirred while the rest of them watched. Inside a quiet room, someone else kept watch, noticing the troops return with interest. Laid back but alert, he sensed something strange about their timing and group behavior. Still, he brushed it off, just kids playing soldier. Nothing serious in their eyes. Without Young-jun around, the group seemed less intimidating, easier to underestimate from a distance. Reports came in, no Awaken detected yet, just ordinary soldiers in a silent atmosphere. Outside, soldiers exchanged quiet glances, unaware of the interest their presence had sparked inside. Eyes from the building followed them, careful, calculating, weighing what came next without hesitation. Rumors said they fought monsters with guns, but that didn't mean they were weak. Their observer leaned back, satisfied. No signs of power meant little risk for interference. A grin followed. No Awakens spotted? Then tonight would go exactly how he planned. The room tensed as plans brewed, but one voice urged caution over reckless action. Blondie hesitated, knowing patience often protected more than speed ever could. A simple nod sealed the pause they'd wait, even if ambition clawed under the surface. Morning came with sunlight and silence, wrapping the compound like a calm before storm. An old man sat quietly, hunger steady, but his thoughts were with his own. Young-jun studied the panel, fingers brushing the screen that shimmered with faint blue light. A new ability emerged: group strength, linked by a token, shaped by leadership alone. The system rewarded unity, boosting everyone just for standing under one banner together. Equipment was rare, but now even objects could carry the weight of loyalty. With food packed and plans growing, Young-jun wondered what item might symbolize them all. News of their growth spread fast, numbers swelling, new titles granted, and eyes turning curious. Doubts crept in. Young-jun questioned whether he truly deserved the weight of this title. But others had already chosen to follow, drawn by quiet strength, not loud power. Tales of his sword skill had already taken root, strength earned through grit, not gifts. With power shifting and others too unstable, Young-jun stood as the only steady pillar left. Faith stepped in with updates. Every detail delivered just the way Young-jun had asked. Orders were simple: blend in, avoid attention, and don't talk about powers. Young-jun nodded, satisfied. Caution was the shield they needed until things settled down. Outside, eyes still watched. Every move they made had weight in this fragile calm. Lieutenant Kim's presence lingered like a shadow, but Young-jun focused on progress, not threats. A new issue came up. Survivors kept approaching, asking to share something important. One woman stood out, always returning, always insisting her words needed to be heard. Soldiers didn't know what to make of it, but Youngjun listened with care. She led the survivor group, earnest, persistent, and possibly holding a key they missed. Youngjun weighed the risks. If she had answers, it was worth the time to hear. Lieutenant Kim's reaction was a concern, but Youngjun already had plans brewing in his mind. He reassured the squad he'd handle Kim himself, no matter how things unfolded. Calm and clear, Youngjun mapped out the first step: contact the survivors discreetly. A private meeting was arranged, with care and secrecy stitched into every instruction. With one last nod, the task was in motion. Everything now rested on trust. Shin Youngjun stared at the finished dish, steam rising with warmth and quiet satisfaction inside. After days of chaos, he finally had time to focus on what really mattered: organization. He stepped outside to cool air, carrying his plate, feeling peace for a short moment. From below, soldiers called out, curious about the sudden movement above the kitchen rooftop. They pointed out a hidden basement built beneath the dining room, unknown to most newcomers. Youngjun nodded, curious, and walked toward the place they'd mentioned with steady steps and careful hands. He explained the place had a boiler, generator, and enough room to store essentials. One soldier joked it could be used for more than just heating and storage, maybe secrets. Youngjun entered the building, the hum of machinery echoing faintly as he moved down. The silence deepened as he reached the bottom floor, his footsteps light but deliberate. A closed metal door stood quietly in the dim light, holding stories no one knew. He opened it slowly, breath held, greeted by the darkness and a faint human shape. The man inside flinched, eyes adjusting, unsure who had come to see him after days. When light poured in, Youngjun stood clearly in view, holding food with quiet reassurance. Lieutenant Kim stared, eyes wide, as warmth and scent replaced cold and fear inside the cell.